Welcome to
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
If you have any questions or comments, we have multiple ways we can be reached.
Around?
That is one of the ways. Twitter is, of course, the best way for those of you that need instant gratification in this millennial-based world. And of course, the show's Twitter feed is at SKiMPod. That's SKIMPOD. For the more patient amongst you, which is none of us, let's be honest, the email address for the show is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Crunchy again, being spelled with a K. We're also available via Apple Podcast, something I've never heard of, Stitcher Radio. Are any of you still using that shit? TuneIn Radio, whatever the fuck that is, I couldn't tell you. Google Play, I've heard of that. I don't use it, but if you do, thank you. Spotify, now that one I use, so find us on there. I know we're on there. And of course, at the website, stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Now I ask that you please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show because honestly, I don't do that shit. And I need someone to pick up my slack. Now, I hear that there is a group of people here that collectively discuss music, and they provide for you, yes you, a pod called Cast. It's a musical discussion show built on a hip-hop foundation, which seems to be what makes the musical world turn these days, and I hear it's pretty swell. Our personal Twitters are Tatum216, Lunchbox2099, The Real ODP, and your host, Internet's Tasty Tayrell 713.
Well, once upon a time not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow, when laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to good, there lived a little boy who was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said.
Me and you, we're going to make some cash. Robbing old folks and making a dash.
They did the job. Money came with ease. But one couldn't stop. It's like he had a disease. He robbed another, and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a DC undercover. The cop grabbed his arm. He started acting erratic. He said,
"Big food, boy. Don't need the static."
Punched him in his belly and he gave him a slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped. The kid pulled out the gun and said,
"Why'd you hit me?"
The barrel set straight for the cop's kidney. The cop got scared. The kid, he starts to figure,
"I'll do you is if I pull this trigger."
So he cold dashed and ran around the block. Cops radioed into another lady cop. He ran by a tree. There he saw his sister. Shot for her head. He shot back, but he missed her. Looked around good and from expectations. So he decided he'd head for the subway station, but she was coming and he made a left. He was running top speed till he was out of breath. Knocked an old man down and he swore he killed him.
Sorry.
Then he made his move to an abandoned building. Ran up the stairs to the top floor. Opened up the door there. Guess we saw?
Dave the dope fiend shooting dope who don't know the meaning of watching North Soap.
He said,
"I need bullets. Hurry up and run."
The dope fiend pulled out a spanking shotgun. He went outside, but there was cops all over, and then he jumped into a car, a stolen Nova. Raced up the block doing 83. Crashed to a tree near the university. Escaped alive, though the car was battered. Rat-a-tat-tat, and they all the cops scattered. Ran out of bullets, but he still had static. Grabbed the pregnant lady and put out the automatic. Pointed at her head, and the gun was full of lead. He told the cops,
"Be still." I said, I don't remember that part.
"Back off, or honey, he's dead."
He was dead.
Deep in his heart.
He knew it was wrong,
so he let the lady go and he starts to run over. Sirens sounded and he seems astounded, and before long the little boy got surrounded. He dropped his gun, so went the glory, and this is the way I have to end the story. He was only 17 in a madman's dream.
Still him scream.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path. Straight and narrow or your soul gets cast. Good night. Welcome to It Stays Crunchy in Milk, episode 379. And I like to consider us the Class 8 trucks of the pod game. I'm joined by my best friends, Tatum216, Lunchbox2099, my homeboy Gabe, the real ODP. And we back up in this bitch again. We chose a Slick Rick track. As it turns out, today, is the day we record this, is his birthday. Happy birthday, Slick Rick.
Slick Rick, a better one-eyed man than Dan Crenshaw.
Fuck that dude. Mr. It will be, what did he say? Something about like how
this would be only cowards vote by proxy.
And then his ass voted by proxy to not impeach that piece.
Speaking of Slick Rick, I always wanted to have a British accent after listening to him. And at first, I didn't know that I thought Nightmares by Dana Dane was Slick Rick, but no, Danny Jane was just faking the accent for the tracks.
Yep, he was kind of basically biting Rick's style.
Yeah,
because that's what. But hey, Cinderfella Day to Day, a fabulous song. I'm the rapper Day to Day with fame. But we out here, people. We doing the damn thing. It's good to be back. Good to be on mic talking to my homeboys, kicking it and the like. It has been a week in this country where we just go ahead. Well, the internet just was like, all right, fuck Donald Trump. Everything. You name it, they said you got to go. Today I found out Snapchat kicked him off. I didn't even know Donald Trump had a Snapchat. I can't even imagine what he was doing on Snapchat, but still.
He was snapping his vajayjay.
That probably sending shit to his daughter.
That, and then everybody said, fuck it, we going to Parler. And then Apple was like, Parler, you don't moderate your discussions at all. And if you don't do some moderation, we will kick you off the platform. Gave them a day's notice to do it. They could not do that in a day. And they were immediately removed from Apple shortly after Google had already removed them from the platform. So nobody could download the Parler app. They could side load it because, Google, if you're in the Android ecosystem, you could do some side loading. Then AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, was like, nah, you got to get the fuck up out of here too, which is, basically their servers. Basically, that's where Parler lived, is where you would go to see it on the internet. Lots of things work on AWS. Netflix works on AWS. Whenever you have an AWS outage of substantial enough size, you'll notice it because something you fuck with on the internet ain't working that day. And so what they thought was going to be their new home away from Twitter also went away. And then a nifty little hacker type dude, actually just a computer scientist type guy. The guy would tell you he was not a hacker. He just notices things. Found out that Parler, where all these people were planning this shit at, basically to go attack the Capitol, was thoroughly unsecure. And so basically he went in and downloaded all of Parler, video, pictures, and the like. Now, how this works is if you and I post a picture or video on Twitter, Twitter scrubs what's called the meta tags. Meaning they don't know, they get rid of the information about the device you used, you took the pictures on or video on, or where the location was to give them your geotags. They just scrub it. The picture is just on Twitter now, that's where it's at. Parler wasn't doing that. So, all these people who were in the Capitol, wilding the fuck out, talking about they was there, talking about they was gonna go, all their pictures are literally in order, by number, by date, where it was at, all kinds of geotags, all their metadata included. So the FBI is going to have a field day with this, and it's been. I'm not gonna say enjoyable. I hate that it takes them having to go back and arrest people when they could have put cuffs on people who were there right then and there, But it has been a delight to see people finding out they're on a no-fly list and are terrorists now, or at least thought of as terrorists, because they don't think they terrorists, but they goddamn terrorists.
Yeah, I think it's deeper than that, isn't it? Aren't they? Didn't they do treason?
That could be one of the charges that get sauced at them. But you know how this is gonna go. Motherfuckers gonna start rolling fast. These ain't no hard ass street G's who go, who stick by the code and ain't gonna snitch. They gonna snitch, and they gonna snitch big. And when we find out, because rumor has it, there quite possibly was congressional assistance in this coup attempt. People being given tours of the building, people tweeting out exact locations of high value targets, so forth and so on, because these people consider these people high value targets. So what is going to come from this is going to be a wild one. But one of the stories I pulled about this subject is probably the little bit we talk about insurrection this week. Unless we just get back into
this week in insurrection.
Black police officers describe the racist attacks they face as they protected the Capitol. 2 black officers told BuzzFeed News that their chief and upper management left them totally unprepared and were nowhere to be found on the day. This is by Emmanuel Phelps and the BuzzFeed News reporter. The first glimpse of the deadly tragedy that was about to unfold came at 9 a.m. on the morning of the insurrection for one black veteran of the U.S. Capitol Police. But it didn't come from his superiors. Instead, the officer had to rely on a screenshot from Instagram sent to him by a friend. I found out what they were planning when a friend of mine screenshot me an Instagram story from the Proud Boys saying, "We're breaching the Capitol today, guys. I hope you're all ready." The officer, who asked to remain anonymous out of fear of retaliation from his superiors, told BuzzFeed News that it was just a sign of the chaos that was to come, which saw officers regularly finding themselves unprepared and then outmanned and overpowered by the mob. The officer said that while the department's upper management had been telling them to prepare for Wednesday's storming of the Capitol like they would for any other protest, that Instagram post sent a clear message. This wasn't going to be just some kind of free speech protest. This was going to be a fight. Management's inaction left black police officers especially vulnerable to a mob that had been whipped up by President Donald Trump, a man who has a record of inspiring racist vigilantes to action. One of the most defining videos of the day was of one of their colleagues, another black officer, trying in vain to hold back the tide of rioters who had broken into the building and were hunting for congressional members. BuzzFeed News spoke to two black officers who described a harrowing day in which they were forced to endure racist abuse, including repeatedly being called the N-word, as they tried to do their job protecting the Capitol and, by extension, the very functioning of American democracy. The officers said they were wrong-footed, fighting off of an invading force that their managers had downplayed and not prepared them for. They had all been issued gas masks, for example, but management didn't tell them to bring them in on that day. Capitol Police did not respond to BuzzFeed requests for a comment, but the allegations made by the officers, while some of the images from that day appeared to show officers standing by to let the mob into the Capitol building, the veteran officer said that they had fought them off for 2 hours before the attackers eventually gained access. The officer said that many in the widely spread image of smiling marauders wandering the halls dressed in absurd costumes had the effect of downplaying how well prepared some of the rioters were to overtake the building and even capture and kill Congress members. "That was a heavily trained group of militia terrorists that attacked us," said the officer, who had been with the department for more than a decade. "They had radios. We found them. They had two-way communicators and earpieces. They had bear spray. They had flashbangs. They were prepared. They strategically put 2 IEDs, pipe bombs, in 2 different locations. These guys were military trained. A lot of them were former military," the officer said, referring to 2 suspected pipe bombs that were found outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee. The officer even described coming face-to-face with police officers from across the country in the mob. He said some of them flashed their badges telling me to let them through and trying to explain that this was all a part of a movement that was supposed to help. "You have the nerve to be holding up a Blue Lives Matter flag, and you're out there fucking us up," he told one group of protesters he encountered inside the Capitol. One guy pulled out his badge and said, "We're doing this for you." Another guy had his badge, so I was like, "Well, you gotta be kidding." Another officer, a new recruit, echoed these sentiments, saying that where he was on the steps to the rotunda on the east side of the Capitol, he was engaged in hand-to-hand battles trying to fight the attackers off. But he said they were outnumbered 10-1 and described extraordinary scenes in which protesters holding Blue Lives Matter flags launched themselves at police officers. "We're telling them to back up and get away and stop, and they're telling us they are on our side and they're doing this for us. And they're saying that I'm getting punched in my face by one of them." That happened a lot to us. We're getting pepper sprayed in the face by these protesters. I'm not going to even call them protesters, by those domestic terrorists, said the officer. While it was a hard day for almost every officer at the Capitol, officers were in a particularly difficult position, he said, and he drew a stark contrast with how police handled the Black Lives Matter protests this summer. There's quite a big difference when Black Lives Matter protesters came up on the Capitol, he said on Wednesday. Some officers were catering to the rioters. On Wednesday, some officers were catering. There we go. He said that what upset him most was when he later saw images of white colleagues taking selfies with the attackers, seeming to enjoy this time with the insurrectionists who were roaming the U.S. Capitol with Confederate flags and other symbols of white supremacy. "That one hurt the most because I was on the other side of the Capitol getting my ass kicked," he said. He is certain that if a group of black Americans had stormed the Capitol, they wouldn't have gotten that kind of friendly reception from his white colleagues. If you're going to treat a group of demonstrators for Black Lives Matter one way, then you should treat the group the same goddamn way. With the group, you were being kind and nice and walking them back out. Some of us got arrested, some of them got arrested, but a lot of them didn't. Everyone who came into the Capitol should have been arrested regardless if they did take anything. The number of arrests has steadily increased in recent days, but it currently seems like everyone who breached the building on Wednesday but it currently seems unlikely that everyone who breached the building on Wednesday will be arrested for their actions. 5 people died on Wednesday, including Capitol Police officer. 1 protester was shot and killed by Capitol Police, while 3 others died of medical emergencies during the attack. The older black officer didn't think it was a simple case of treating the rioters differently than from Black Lives Matter protesters, but instead part of the bigger issue with how the agency is managed. Our chief was nowhere to be found. I didn't hear him on the radio. One of our other deputy chiefs was not there, he said. You don't think it's all hands on deck? So it's not that much. I was about to say it's a lot more story, but it's not that much. I'll finish it all. The veteran officer welcomed the resignations of U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund, but he thinks more needs to change at the agency, which answers to Congress, and where security is not as tight as it should be. Congress can bring anybody in the building they want. They can go outside and find 200 people and say, hey, they're with me, come on in. They don't have to go through security as long as the congressman said so, he explained. They just want to make Congress happy. So I think the next chief needs to come in and sit down with Congress. At the end of the night, after the crowds had been dispersed, Congress got back to the business of certifying President-elect Joe Biden's victory. The veteran officer was overwhelmed with emotion and broke down in the rotunda. I sat down with one of my buddies, another black guy, and tears just started streaming down my face, he said. What the fuck, man? Is this America? What the fuck just happened? I'm so sick and tired of this shit. Soon he was screaming so that everyone in the rotunda, including his white colleagues, could hear what he had just gone through. These are racist-ass terrorists, he yelled. In the 7 years since Black Lives Matter has become a rallying cry, the image of a white cop deciding how and when to enforce the law and order has become ubiquitous. On Wednesday, Americans saw something different, as black officers tried to do the same as they attempted to protect the very heart of American democracy. And instead of being honored by the supporters of a man who likes to call himself the law and order president, black Capitol officers found themselves under attack. I got called a nigger 15 times today, the officer shouted in the rotunda to no one in particular. Trump did this, and all of these fucking people in our department that voted for him. How the fuck can you support him? I cried for about 15 minutes. I just let it out. That pretty much is what we said last week. Pretty much bit by bit. We knew what this experience was. We knew what it was. And this is just here proven by journalism and research that...
I got a quick aside.
Please.
So when you said bear spray, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's like mace to keep bears away.
Bear mace.
It's like
yes, I mean, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But the reason they carry bear spray, it was very interesting, is pepper spray is illegal in places. So if you carry bear spray, it's like a loophole. Like you can carry bear spray anywhere.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
that article is by BuzzFeed, sponsored by me feeding my buzz right now.
You know what? I did have a second one, but I actually just want to read you the headline on this one. Actually, the story's super short too, but this one I thought was very funny. This is over at Vice News. The guy who flew the Confederate flag in the Capitol has predictably surrendered.
I saw that headline. I like it.
The man who brought the Confederate flag into the Capitol during the insurrection last week has predictably surrendered. Kevin Seafried has been identified as the middle-aged goateed man who was photographed carrying a huge and historically racist Confederate flag as he marched uninvited around the halls of Congress on January 6th. He surrendered to authorities in Wilmington, Delaware on Thursday, along with his son, Hunter Seafried, according to the Department of Justice.
Hunter.
I was just about to say, I bet he's from a state that wasn't part of that.
The Seafrieds...
What state was he from again?
Delaware. The Seafrieds were arrested after Hunter Seafried allegedly boasted about being part of the riots to a coworker, according to court documents. The unidentified coworker told the FBI about the younger Seafried's involvement. The two men confessed to the riot attendants to FBI investigators. According to the court documents, Kevin told authorities that he normally flies the Confederate flag in front of his Delaware home. Both Kevin and Hunter have been charged with knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or any grounds without lawful authority, violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds, the depredation of government property. Federal authorities.
I kind of feel like I wish we can make some T-shirts real quick that says I survived storming the Capitol.
Federal authorities blasted out his photo last week, seeking the public's assistance identifying the man with the Confederate flag. During the Capitol siege, scholars and news outlets reported that it was the first time the Confederate flag had been inside the Capitol as an act of insurrection. Seyfried's surrender is the latest in a string of high-profile arrests of accused Capitol rioters. On January 6th, following a rally and speech by President... we know what the rest of this is. So far, authorities have identified and charged more than 80 people in connection with the siege in D.C. Earlier this week, a bearded man photographed riding while wearing a Camp Auschwitz sweatshirt was detained in Virginia. He was charged with entering a restricted building without lawful authority, violent entry, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. I know what these charges are right now, but I'm truly hoping they all get hit with insurrection and treason and terror charges. Oh, that was written by.
Did they arrest Arnold's grandmother yet?
I don't know. I don't know if they got a hold of her yet. That was written by Trone Dowd over at Vice News. Yeah. Another thing, I don't know if y'all saw the story going around, but so they put up metal detectors in Congress, and the Republicans in Congress was like, fuck it, and walked around the metal detectors. Refused to go through the metal detectors.
Which I didn't know you can do. I'm gonna have to remember that for next time I go do a metal detector entry.
I don't think your skin color will allow you to do that.
Pelosi.
Maybe in the winter.
Nancy Pelosi said, "I want you to move those metal detectors closer to the doors," and they also set up tables on the either side of them, so they're you can't just walk around them. But I mean, it's a little credenza table, you know what I'm saying? It's a little tiny little side table. I mean, truly, who knows? Maybe it will direct people, but these people are intentionally not going through the metal detector. It's not like they, don't know the metal detector's there.
I didn't see that metal detector there. Jeez. Oops.
So we'll see. But, and also, Pelosi said, going forward, it's like this. $5,000 for the first time, $10,000 for the next time. Don't fuck up and skip through my metal detector ever again. So she just about to start. She gonna NBA these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna start finding them for practice. Cause these niggas is talking about practice.
Practice.
So
practice.
Not a game.
Not a game.
Box sent me this story. For full disclosure for the people, I was a very busy man today, so all of this show has been outsourced to my fellow host here, and
man, you don't have to tell him that.
So everything all I'm doing currently is hosting. The stories, well, those two stories, whatever. But the rest of the stories you hear this week, Abadasso, the Slick Rick being chosen as the lyrics, is all the team here doing coming together and knocking some shit out. I just realized, Box, as I look at this image, that this is where we saw our buddy Jack perform when we were trying to get him to perform for our live show, and it is. This is even wilder because of that. Because I'm pretty sure we met this guy.
Very, very possible. I don't know. It was 6-7 years ago?
It's been a minute, but still. This is for my people who love when we hit them with a little local. This is hyper local. This is definitely in our neck of the woods. Tremont bar owner gets year in prison for bribing police officers to stay open after hours. This is by Corey Schaffer over at Cleveland.com. Cleveland, Ohio, the owner of a Tremont dive bar. That bar was very nice. It does look divers on the outside, but it's very lovely on the inside, I must say. Will spend the next year in prison for paying a Cleveland police officer a $300? He gonna do a year inside for that? Come on, bro. $300 bribe. Judge David Mattia delivered a tongue lashing to Andrew Long, the 48-year-old Pennsylvania resident and owner of Duck Island Club, who agreed to pay an officer $300 a night to work security at the bar if the officer let him operate the bar after hours. Now, this is an aside. The great state of Ohio just had some liquor laws change, and you can actually now request for a licensing change, and you can get a license that lets you stay open now. I think it said till 4:30 in the morning. He was so close. Mattia, who invoked who invoked the January 6th insurrection attempt at the U.S. Capitol by extremist supporters of President Donald Trump, said attempts like Long's to corrupt a police officer damage trust in the government. Right on.
Wow, that's that's kind of rude.
I see you, Your Honor. Judge David Matai, I see what you're up to, baby.
He was mad about that. He just wanted to mention it, and he just forced it into.
Let's read. This is a quote from His Honor. We've seen what happened in the last week when the trust in government is undermined by an individual. It's terrible, Matai said. You have undermined societal trust by your direct actions, not because you were trying to put food on the table for your kids, but because you're just a greedy man who is delusional and believes he has lived an exemplary life. Judge Matai, okay, I see you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Long pleaded guilty in September on the day of his trial was set to begin on the third-degree felony robbery charge. Long had no prior felony record and operated the bar tucked off Columbus Road near Abbey Road, Ave, for 12 years. He faced anywhere from a probation to a maximum sentence of 3 years in prison. Matai also ordered Long to pay $10,000 fine and court costs and said that he would not consider granting him early release from prison unless Long cooperates with investigators who were probing further. Matai also criticized Long for hiring Dayton-based attorney after his guilty plea to investigate whether police may have entrapped him and accused him of still trying to weasel his way out of this. Long was upset the police had cited his bar with operating after hours 3 times in 2017 and 2018 when he met Sergeant Vincent Montague at a holiday fundraiser he held in December 2018. According to court records, prosecutors say Montague suggested Long hire an off-duty Cleveland police officer to work security at his bar to improve his relationship with the department and set up a meeting between Long and Officer Timothy Malfoy Judge, prosecutors said. Long told Malfoy Judge at the January 2019 meeting at his bar that he would be willing to pay Malfoy Judge extra to let him stay open past the state's 2:30 a.m. closing time, prosecutors said. This was more than a wink and a nod. This was very explicit, Assistant Cuyahoga County Prosecutor James Gutierrez told Matai Thursday. Malfoy Judge left the meeting and reported it to his supervisors, who instructed him to go back to Long and accept the deal while secretly recording it on video. God damn, court records say. Long again offered Malfoy Judge
extra... Court records say goddamn.
No, I'm just saying. Long again offered Malfoy Judge extra money to work in his bar after hours and told him he would appreciate a heads up if police planned any inspections of his bar, prosecutors said. Malfoy Judge then showed up for his first shift at the bar, and the bar stayed open until almost 4 a.m. Prosecutors said when Long paid Malfoy Judge after the shift, police came in and arrested him. Long's attorney, Robert Dixon, said in court Thursday that Long was interested in building a better relationship with the police department when he sought to hire an off-duty officer. Dixon said after...
Court reporter Sam Jackson said, motherfucker.
Dixon said after Long took over the bar about a dozen years ago, police officers used to come into the bar to socialize, but they dropped off and Long wanted to find a way to bring them back. Dixon acknowledged that Long was also sought to stay open after hours as part of the arrangement, though he said it was mostly to serve his friends and others in the service industry who work at other bars that are open. Long told the judge the decision was the worst in his life and he will leave an asterisk on his business. I've tried my whole life to live a good and honorable life, Long said. As Long started to say that the ordeal, Matai interrupted him to point out that he and his defense attorney requested to delay his trial and his sentencing several times. So cry me a river when you talk about suffering over the last 2 years, Matai said.
Damn.
You're not helping yourself by your self-pity on display in my courtroom. Matai
got off the bench and kicked him in the balls.
Matai also rebuked Long's claims in a 4-page letter he wrote to the judge before the sentencing that he's a family man who has lived an honorable life.
Leave me alone. I'm a family man.
Matai quoted a portion of the letter in which Long wrote that he owned and operated the bar because he could never be the kind of man who takes money from his wife, who is a surgeon.
Oh, low blow.
Who is a surgeon and the primary breadwinner in their house. Long routinely left his wife and 2 children in Pennsylvania to work at the bar and was willing to pay $300 a night to make a nominal amount of money serving his friends for an extra hour and a half, Matai said. The bar is not a job. The bar is a hobby, Matai said. Your mirror, the way you see yourself, is broken.
Oh, low blow.
I didn't read that story before Box sent it to me, and that was a burner. That's the kind of story I love to read. That judge got in his ass.
I'm tired wanted to fist fight this motherfucker. Fuck you. Fuck your mother. Fuck the horse you rode in on.
Bruh. Can you imagine? Oh, man. His wife definitely gonna divorce his ass. Because she ain't coming to Ohio to fucking visit this dude in the joint. She not.
She gonna visit him, but she gonna fuck his friend when he in jail.
We'll go with that.
I've seen Grey's Anatomy. They do a lot of fucking on that show. Researches.
You seen Grey's Anatomy?
You seen that before?
Yeah, I watched a few episodes.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
On your own?
It's not a good show.
I mean, don't try to talk shit about it now. You don't watch it.
I'm just being honest.
Oh shit. These next two, and these will be the last two before we jump into it. Are definitely more in our wheelhouse. From the good people over at Delish. This is Christian Salake. Taco Bell is bringing back potatoes after taking them off the menu last year.
Tonight.
No, you had French fries, didn't you?
You had fries or you had potatoes?
Yeah, I had nacho supreme fries.
Oh.
Here's something you may no longer be used to. Good news. Taco Bell announced today that it's bringing back its potato options in just a few weeks. In an announcement, Taco Bell said its Cheesy Fest potatoes, its spicy potato soft taco, and the spicy potato soft taco will be back permanently starting on March 11th. They were originally...
my son's birthday. Ain't that some good shit?
Why the fuck is it so many months?
I'll read the story, bro. You will find out why here shortly. You just got to be patient. They were originally taken off the menu last summer in order to simplify Taco Bell's menu options, which, while totally valid, definitely broke some hearts. But now they're on their way back and carb fans can breathe easy. The spicy potato soft taco will be just $1, and the Cheesy Fiesta...
Low blow number one.
The Cheesy Fiesta potatoes are $1.49 at participating locations. You can also easily swap meat for potatoes or beans on any of Taco Bell's menu items if you're looking for more veggie-friendly options. The chain also announced that it will be beefing up, that's in parentheses right there, that its vegetarian options, teaming up with Beyond Meat to create a new plant-based protein that will be tested within the next year. It's not clear what exactly the innovation will look like, but our fingers are personally crossed for a Beyond Doritos Locos Taco. Yum. This will be Taco Bell's first time testing out plant-based meat in the U.S., and we couldn't be more excited. And the potatoes, still psyched about those too. I don't know about you, but my stomach growled just thinking about getting a fork full of Taco Bell's cheesy potatoes. May we never take them for granted again.
That was a bit of a low blow. Most people weren't looking for a carb option; they were looking for a vegetable option. 1, 2. I loved Cheesy Fiesta potatoes, but they got rid of the green onions.
They took them green onions from you. You ain't never went back.
I haven't.
Whereas for me,
but
Cheesy Fiesta potatoes. Every time I ordered anything from Taco Bell, it was a side of Cheesy Fiesta potatoes. Because I would take Cheesy Fiesta potatoes and then put them inside of whatever else I ordered.
I do love the spicy potatoes soft taco.
I never had it, but
that sauce on it.
Is it like a different sauce?
Yeah.
You can put the fries inside the burritos right now.
I don't like. I've tried them. I just don't like the nacho fries, bro. They do nothing for me. I realize they probably are exactly the same thing, just cut different ways. But they have a flavor that I don't fuck with.
They're real heavy on that spice that they're using.
Yeah, the kids like them.
They're not the
they
same.
were okay.
The kids like them. Vanessa likes them.
I probably won't get them again.
If anything, they're very similar to KFC's wedge.
Oh, okay. I mean, they all are a bunch of yum brands, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm excited for them to come back. I've been wanting one of those potato tacos.
Never had it, but I certainly will give it a try when the option is available.
Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a try. I like them.
I think it's the same.
I give it almost every time.
I think it's the same sauce that's in the quesadilla.
Nice. Okay, I do like that sauce. On a humble, that melt of chicken paprika sandwich.
Yeah.
the finest sandwich I ever had at Melt ever. And I have a few sandwiches I fuck with at Melt. That motherfucker was perfectly spiced chicken paprikash. Look, it was so good. It was so good. I swapped out sharp cheddar for Munster because Munster's kind of, you know what I'm saying? I wanted a little more cheese situation, and I feel like that was the move to make.
Cheese.
I thought you could do that. You could.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't know you can do that.
Yeah. You can pick your cheese. You can add more cheese. They actually had an option for ghost pepper cheese, and I was considering adding that, but I was like, I was worried it might overwhelm the paprikash. I wanted to taste what their paprikash tasted like. And if you are fucking chicken paprikash and are local and can get your hands on some Melt, I'm telling you right now, the Hungry Hungarian is a banger of a sandwich. Very, very good.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I'm just gonna take back what I've been saying for years, that Melt would have been my idea if they didn't discourage me back in home economics. He's just too good. I'm gonna have to give the man his credit. I couldn't think of some of these ideas.
Respect due, man.
My favorite plussed up sandwich I used to get was the Big Popper, which was a cream cheese and I think it was cream cheese, cheddar, and jalapeno peppers. But what I used to get was a piece of fried chicken in there. I know I'm black and I know I shouldn't be adding fried chicken and stuff, but I did it anyway. So then after they do that, they batter dip it and fry the whole thing.
You know what? Damn. Being a bunch of liberals that they are at Melt, they probably said this black man's adding fried chicken to his sandwich. No, don't think like that. I feel bad.
Well, my name isn't really all that black though. Anthony, just a half and half. Tatum, I don't know. I'm totally lost here. The most famous person that's named Tatum ain't black.
That's true.
The first person is Channing Tatum, and then Jack Tatum, rest in peace. But he was black.
I like the Ninja Turtle
Tatum
sandwich.
I didn't like it. I don't like pesto. The pesto kind of messed my tummy up. I did not enjoy it.
You didn't like it?
I'm not like you. I love the chicken and waffles. I'm almost every time I go there, I get the chicken and waffles. They make. They also have a General Tso's. It's fine. It's just I like more. I don't like their version of the General Tso's. The sauce. I like the very concept of the sandwich because it comes with egg rolls and shit on it, so it bangs. It's another one they put Munster on. And I get it. You can just say you put cheese on it, but Munster might as well just be Swiss. It's just kind of blank, you know. It doesn't really do anything.
I think they put Munster on there because of its melting quality.
All right.
It is a very neutral cheese, but yet it does melt very well. And
so listen. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my last pick is the Parma Italy.
I love the Parma.
Well, I used to get they had a chicken version or whatever of the Godfather. So that was the one that it's like meatloaf, but it's like they had I don't know how they did it different.
So the Godfather was you talking about the Godmother?
Oh, okay.
It was a vegetarian version of the Godfather, which it was, instead of like meat sauce and meatballs and shit on there, it was like a veggie lasagna.
Okay, and that was
that sounds good.
It was very good.
Yeah, it was a hell of a sandwich. Vanessa got their tofu wings. And she got Korean barbecue and sweet and spicy barbecue as her sauces or whatever flavors. She was not a big fan of the Korean barbecue. I did like the flavor. I just didn't. It was a dry rub on the Korean barbecue, and I'm like, that's not normally how Korean chicken situation works for me. And the spicy barbecue, both of them very tasty. I would certainly eat them again. I enjoyed them both. I took a little bite out of each of them, and I'm like, the texture of their tofu was very well done. So it's got a meat like texture to it. So very good quality in that regard. I liked it a lot. Box, I saw it at Chipotle. Even though I know you hadn't had Chipotle in probably over a year at this point. How long has it been since you had Chipotle? It's been a minute, right?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay. I saw they had riced cauliflower.
I saw it in a commercial the other day.
Okay. So I know you've been I don't know if you are working on keto as an option or whatever, but I feel like I thought that was a good option for you. I knew you'd had the rice, the cauliflower pizza crust at some point.
Getting back to keto here is my long-term play. That bread that I ordered online that I was telling you guys about last week, I've actually eaten some of the bread now. Like I haven't eaten the hamburger buns yet. Like I'm gonna try those tomorrow, but I have eaten some of the bread, just like normal ass white bread. Can't tell the fucking difference.
I know.
Oh, got a real good texture to it.
It's like some cheaper white breads, like are a little like squishy and kind of thin feeling. Mm-hmm. These are like a little thicker, more sturdy feeling. But honestly, like between eating them and normal store-bought high fructose corn syrup type bread, can barely like tell the difference, like taste-wise, any of that shit. Like to me, it's just bread. Like if you were to tell me that it was like 0 net carbs and all that shit, I would have like told you you're lying. Like it's 40 calories per slice, 0 net carbs. And I'm just like, this is like the healthiest fucking bread I've ever eaten in my life.
Nice.
Hey, can we put a bow on that meld conversation? So I think people who are listening to this outside of Cleveland, if you ever come to visit Cleveland, try to hit up Meld if you got $15 for a sandwich.
Yeah, you can just do half a sandwich.
Yeah, you can do a half a sandwich. It's true. I would suggest hitting it up, though. It's really good.
Yeah,
I'd recommend half only because the sandwiches are so big. Like I'm at the point in my life now where I don't feel the need to finish it when I'm like in one sitting. So like, if you don't want leftovers, just get the half.
Throw it in the oven the next day.
That was nice. Noticeable about the Hungry Hungarian. I was like, this might be the smallest melt sandwich I've ever seen. It just wasn't super stacked. It might be because we got to go and weren't in the restaurant or whatever. But it was a proper. It was just like it's a nice sandwich, good flavor, good size. I didn't feel like I was like too whatever. Probably one of the first times I finished a melt sandwich. It is the first time I finished a melt sandwich in one setting. I always take melt, have some melt come home with me, and or if I get it to takeaway, have some the next day. So
isn't that like the history of food service though? That like a lot of restaurants, like, and it's documented that over time, like their portions get smaller as the prices rise. Like I was watching Good Mythical Morning a couple weeks ago, and they were they did a segment on like how was it, is it shrinking or how much did it shrink by and all that kind of shit, and like the Big Mac has gotten smaller over the years, and certain candy bars have gotten smaller.
Well, the kid sandwiches looked sizable, a normal size, but like I said, the Hungry Hungarian was not a massive sandwich. It's another reason I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking like you guys are saying, if people are visiting, getting a half a sandwich is another reason you can try more than one sandwich too.
Yeah, true indeed.
I'll never forget the corny beast. Was the first sandwich I had to take a break halfway through because I was tired. Oh, it was just like exhausting to eat. It was a good sandwich. The corny beast was like a melt sandwich with cheese. I forget what kind of cheese. Cheese and a hot dog. That was like a decent quality hot dog.
Not like just more like damn. We threw a hot dog on top of that. Whatever was in there.
And they corn dogged the whole entire sandwich.
That sounds fire.
With Chipotle mayo. It was good. But it was like, I gotta take a break. Halfway through the sandwich. It's exhausting.
Holy cow.
I remember when, like the first time we ever went out to lunch with Dan, like we went to this burger restaurant that's like now been closed for many, many years now.
Was it Burger 9?
Yes. And you got a burger with a...
I remember Burger 9.
Yeah, you were probably there that day. But Dan got a sandwich with a bratwurst on. I was like, yeah, I can see having lunch with this guy.
Respect due to the game.
I'm glad I was able to impress you with my my menu choices.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to say I eat boring stuff, but, like, it's fun seeing other people tackle mountains that you can't tackle.
Burger 9 did introduce me to Chipotle, not Chipotle mayo, Sriracha mayo. I'm like, you can mix Sriracha with other stuff. I'm like, it's all right, Sriracha ketchup, Sriracha mayo.
I can't believe you hadn't been doing that before. As your dad has been down with Sriracha before, it was cool. So.
Yeah. The two things that I was down with before was cool. If you're a long-time listener of the show, we know we were hating on Donald Trump long before he announced his candidacy for president. And
Anal.
Sriracha, we used to call it Ho Chi Minh Trail sauce, which is very offensive, and my wife told me to stop doing that.
Yeah, not we. You.
Okay, me. I call it Ho Chi Minh Trail sauce, and I've been told to stop doing that because it's very offensive.
Yeah, you know, hey.
But you just did it, though. Like, literally, like, check this out.
And you kind of did it without, like, any sort of, like, hesitation or remorse in your voice.
You did it like you probably still call that shit Ho Chi Minh Trail sauce, but you don't. Don't call it Ho Chi Minh Trail sauce.
You kind of said it like a white man who got permission to like say the N-word in a rap song.
Oh my god!
Like I said, I just feel like you definitely the Tupac of this podcast.
Just a little reckless, Last story. Now I'm probably not going to dig too deep into this, but because it's just the headline kind of gives it all away. Girl Scout cookies will be available for delivery from Grubhub. This is by Megan Cerullo over at CBS News.
Megan Cerullo.
Starting February 14th, you can order Girl Scout cookies through Grubhub. Girl Scouts themselves start selling them on their digital cookie platform on February 1st. I cop cookies from Gabe's Otis. Since she's been hustling cookies, and so I ordered them from her, and they arrived so fast last year that I was ahead of the cookie curve. You know what I'm saying? They came wildly quick. Because most time you gotta wait for them to show up at Giant Eagle or whatever, and of course they definitely ain't selling it on these streets this year. It was
a cookie minority report. You was like,
I remember in the office. My buddy ordered cookies from. You remember the lady that used to sit behind me when I was in my last apartment?
No, but oh yeah, the crazy one.
Yeah. The little short black lady.
Yeah.
So like, she was selling cookies in the office for her granddaughter, and my buddy like bought a box off of her and gave her the money and everything to order it, and like she never fucking brought the cookies. So it's like every time like she would go walking by, I'd be like, hey. Go shake her down for your cookies. And this shit went on for like a year. And I'm just like, man, what does it make you feel like to know that lady's walking around here and she fucking ate your cookies and she doesn't have enough respect for you to even look you in the face to tell you she did it?
Holy cow.
You trying to start a fight between these two?
Well, the thing is, like, that lady's just like super religious. She's nice, but she's like super religious-y, so I like messing with her. And so, and then I was trying to rile my buddy up, knowing that like he got for like $20 or whatever it was.
Can I say something slightly racist?
I mean, more racist than Ho Chi Minh Trail sauce?
Racist towards black or racist towards white? Who do you need permission from?
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna point out a difference. There's a difference between religious black and white religious.
Okay.
You're more likely to get smacked by one than the other.
Oh,
in the name of Jesus.
That lady definitely has hit me. Because like I said, she used to sit.
See, I was right. It was slightly racist, but it was correct.
She used to sit right behind me when I first came to that department, and so like her and I were like by each other for like a year and a half. So and like I treat her like I treat everybody else. I'd joke around with her, sarcasm, like poke fun, say weird shit. Like I didn't treat her any differently. So like, yeah, that lady's definitely smacked me. But
you in the face.
But at the end of the day, she still loves me because this candle here on my desk at home, she gave me.
I mean, if you're black and religious as a woman, you're more likely to smack in the name of Jesus. But if you're white religious, you're more likely to skirt taxes in the name of Jesus.
That's interesting. I watched the Jim Jones documentary on HBO the other day.
Capo.
That was pretty. Huh?
Capo.
Not that one. I wish it was about that. About Dipset. But it was about the dude who made the people drink the Kool-Aid.
Uh-huh.
Man. Pretty fucked up.
Oh wait, we're not talking about We Fly High? No lie. Oh shit, okay. Dude, I tell you though, some of those songs when you go back and listen to them with like older ears, I was so into the hook on that song that I never really listened to like any of the lyrics. So like it came on in the car a couple weeks ago. And it was like the part where it was like stumbled out the club through the drinks and the drugs, something like that. I was just like, oh shit. Like, they were really fucked up in this song.
Speaking of fucked up.
3 a.m., looking for some grub, stumbled out the club through the drinks and the drugs. Something twisted or something like that. I was like, oh shit, he's not just out here having fun balling.
Well, what I learned about Jim Jones is, much like everybody who has a Scarface downfall, like, before he started doing like drugs and stuff like that, and having sex with the men and women in his congregation, like
for a second there, I was still wondering if we were talking about the rapper or the. but I'm following you now. Okay, yeah.
Like his whole thing was doing good in the black community, and when he went down to South America, he took all the black people with him, and like over 900 people died.
Now, this guy, I assume by his name, he was white, correct?
Yeah, Jim Jones was white.
Okay.
Was he? So he was woke.
No. I think if the recent election has taught anybody anything, it's that when white people need something and they need like power, they have to galvanize the black community to them. You know?
Yeah, like honestly, before like everything went down, and before of course, documentaries and documentary television is somewhat one-sided, and it was just like unlike a lot of other preachers, it was like, no, this ain't about money, this ain't about it's all about helping people who didn't have money. And then he started doing drugs, and then he just started doing all this reckless shit.
Well, drug addiction ain't cheap. You gotta get money then.
What drugs is he doing? Is he cocaine, heroin?
If it was in the late 60s, early 70s, I'm sure it was coke and heroin. But
yeah,
what?
There's your episode title, T. Woke Jim Jones.
White people love cocaine. I'll tell you.
Man, have you ever seen somebody do coke before?
I have not.
I see somebody drop acid.
No, that I have. I saw that like 3 weeks ago.
Oh shit! I was talking about high school.
I seen somebody do it one time, and it was like in a restroom, you know, and it was unnerving. I was just like, "Is this shit real?" I was at a bar. I just went home.
Did he give you a warning? Like, I'm gonna do this coke.
It wasn't nobody I knew. He just did it. He just did a bump, and then went on about his business. I'm like, people do this shit in real life?
Well, there's functioning alcoholics and they're functioning cokeheads.
I guess so. It's like, I just do this shit on the weekend.
There are
social cokeheads.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you guys this on the show. My buddy blew $40K worth of coke up his nose in college.
$40K.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a house.
Yeah.
Or put a nice down payment on a house, anyways.
Yeah, down payment. That ain't a good house.
Yeah, back then, like, that probably wouldn't have been that good of a house, but now, yeah, that's like a good sizable down payment depending on what market you're in.
I mean, he could have bought a nice ass tiny house, but
like 4 years ago, shit, that would have bought like half a house, like a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Like my house, like was only that would have been 40% of my house.
Well, he was dealing with a different kind
of.
All
right, he could have bought a Lamborghini then.
Lamborghini still cost $40,000.
He snorted a Lamborghini.
No, he probably snorted
he snorted up a Ford Escort.
That was about
a used one.
A third of a Lamborghini, maybe a quarter of a Lamborghini. Wildly expensive car.
Oh shit! I don't know how much Lamborghinis
like
cost.
$250,000.
Oh fuck! Never mind. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
He
that's a lot of coke.
He could have franchised the Quiznos.
Right there you go.
Brought it back to America.
He snorted a Quiznos. Yeah. I'm just trying to give Tayrell a show title.
Well, so far
you always try.
I have.
He snorted a Quiznos.
I have written down Woke Jim Jones, but Snorted a Quiznos is pretty good. So I mean, respect due. I believe, what's last week's show title? It is Interracial Baby of Milk, which is a box title.
Oh yes.
And it was just too good. It was too good to leave that shit be. The alternate title is the Glory Hole Honor Code, which is yours. So you don't worry, you made it in, man. You made it in on the alternate.
There is a Glory Hole Honor Code. You're not supposed to peek in the Glory Hole. Get your eye poked out.
Unless you're into that kind of shit.
What was that? Scary Movie 1, right? Where a dick poked Marlon Wayans in the ear. Was it Marlon? Sean. SW1. Because he used to DJ on Living Color.
I forgot he was SW1.
Sean Wayans number 1.
Right.
Yeah. So fuck with it. I fuck with it all day, man. But we rolling. We doing the damn thing. What's poppin', with you gentlemen? How are you? How are things? Who wants to go first?
Man, it's going okay. I got another article. I won't go long on it. So the name of this article is: she asked for the chicken wings to be taken off her bill. Oak and Embers at Pinecrest called the cops. Have you guys heard about this?
I am utterly unaware.
No.
So, Oak and Embers is a restaurant. There's 2 locations. There's one near me in Chardon, and there's another one at Pinecrest.
In Independence? Is there another one in Independence by the movie theater?
I'm not sure, but I know it's one in the in Pinecrest by the movie theater. And what's so funny about that is we like the first restaurant we went to after our first son was born was Oak and Embers. And, he was about to be 6 years old, so this shit was like 6 years ago when we first went. And it was really, really good. So good, in fact, that I used to like, if people were looking for a restaurant off the beaten path, I'm like, hey, you should try this one out. But as time went on, shit wasn't good. The exact meal that the lady got, I know for a fact we used to get it every time, and then by the last time we went, it was like, not only we ain't getting this shit no more, we're not coming back here no more. And the food and the service, it just went like way downhill over the years. And I don't blame this lady for asking that to be taken off her bill, but then she they didn't even say nothing else to her. They just called the cops.
What are they calling the cops for?
I guess they didn't want to deal with a black woman, I suppose.
Oh, good Lord.
But like in these times, like I'm not sure. How many like bad experiences have you guys had in the pandemic with ordering food?
I mean, the worst I can say I've had is like the person dropping it off at my neighbor's house.
Yeah, we talk about that on the show.
That's about it. Like, I've gone strictly through apps. I haven't done any direct ordering or anything.
Okay.
I've got an order fucked up or 2. Nothing extravagant. Nobody's calling the cops on me. Shit.
Yeah, I am. I'm the type. Y'all know how I get it. I normally will go pick it up as opposed to having some third party service delivered. I did have cookies delivered from Insomnia the other day for the first time, and the reason I find delicious cookies. The reason I would not do it again is because they're hotter if I get them myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just like I wait for this dude to deliver to and fro and then to me, or just to me. You know what I'm saying? From wherever means the cookies were chill by the time. They were not hot and fresh like they would have had I just ran down there and copped it myself. So but that was about the worst experience I think I've had. I think everybody I don't know, Vanessa ordered something recently and something was. They forgot something, but that's the worst I've had. Something, an item forgotten, or they put ice in that bitch, and I said no ice, or so forth like that. But nothing where I need to be concerned for my well-being or the well-being of my family.
Yeah. Like usually, I try to cook as much as possible. Like every once in a while, we'll go get something, and like I'll choose to go get it because, I mean, I'm working from home. I'm not really going out and doing much, so I do like to try to get out every once in a while. But most places, it does seem like, other than BW3, the one time I got BW3, which exceeded my expectations, it's kind of like, you know, um, you almost expect stuff to be not as good now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of wild. Did you guys actually want me to read the story, or you got the gist of the?
I just want. I mean, like I say, if somewhere within this story they tell
No,
you why,
they don't really say why. They just say like it said. They didn't even like call the manager or nothing like that. The lady looked up and the police were there.
and did they not have a response from the restaurant or anything? Like the restaurant.
Nope, not yet. And this like happened like the day before yesterday.
Yeah, nah. Cannot fuck with that. What's the name of this restaurant again? So you tell the public. So,
Oak and Embers.
Oak and Embers. In up here in Northeast Ohio. Should not get your patronage because that's some bullshit. So this is relatively easy.
On the police.
Who you calling
Shit.
for? How you trying to lose a customer doing this shit in this economy? Come on, bruh.
Speaking of restaurants, though, Anthony, did you guys go to that restaurant that I told you about?
Yes, we did.
How did that go? Because your laugh tells me it did not go well.
First of all, if my girlfriend thought I wanted to murder her or something like that, that was the night she thought I was going to do it.
Oh, was it like is the parking lot's awkward and shit?
Not
Like,
just the parking lot, the whole ride there is super, like, I don't understand why Waze or Google Maps or whatever I used that night told me to go that way, but it was like, all right, so if we would have went the freeway way, which probably would have made more sense, or the street way, we could have just like went straight up one street and then made a left and been there. But they had us go this hilly ass way where like
zigzagging through like a metro park type of shit?
yes. So it was so bad that like you could see a car coming down, and like this was like 6 o'clock at night. So you would see a car coming down, and then you wouldn't see that car for like 45 seconds. That's how high the hills were. Mm-hmm. And then like it was like curvy, swervy the whole way, and I was just like,
yeah. When I went with them, like we weren't coming from the Chardon way because we had gone to that Giant Eagle down by Aurora Road, so we were coming back from Civilization. So when we got to the restaurant, it was fairly normal.
Yeah.
But then to get back to her house, we ended up having to drive like into Chardon, and it took us that same way. Like it felt like you were driving through like a trail in a metro park. Mm-hmm. The road was real narrow and like kind of like undone and like trees everywhere. It was like uphill and swervy.
Yeah, it was very, very dark because there's no lights. And then when you get there, okay, like it is kind of weird. Like the restaurant's all the way in the back, and it's like a dirt road to get to it, and the parking's really wonky. But
how's the food?
My food was okay, but like I said, I ordered pretty basic. I ordered like some, like I guess I bought turkey barbecue turkey, and I thought it was gonna be like a turkey breast. It was like a cold cut turkey that they had made themselves, which it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what I was expecting because the menu does not say that. And then my girlfriend got a steak, and she's just like, "This steak isn't good. It's like it was fatty, and it was like they didn't cook it well." And then she's like, "Well, you know what we usually do is like we don't complain about it. We'll complain about not coming back here ever again." Like I used to be I used to like Yelp like crazy, but I don't do that anymore. And I'm gonna tell you why. The last time I stopped Yelping, I took my niece to Steak and Shake. She used to love going to Steak and Shake, and I seen one of the workers there who was clearly pooping just come out and not wash his hands. Like I was in the restroom. He came out of the restroom just straight out the door and went straight back to work. And I was just like, nah, And I yelped about it. And then like the you know, like they'll ask in the email or like, do you want us to contact him? I'm like, hell yeah, you can contact me. And I talked to the manager. He was just like, all right, well, They told me to contact you. And I'm like, y'all gonna do something about it? He's like, nah, not really. All right then, homie. And that was it. And I was just like, that dude shitted and didn't wash his hands. He was like, I'll
That's
talk to him.
fucked up.
Yeah, he was like, I'll talk to him about it. And I guess that's pretty much why most steak and shakes are closed. Because of that kind of stuff. But yeah,
that and their food sucked.
I used to enjoy Steak and Shake until I figured out.
Yeah, their fries are shit.
Steak and Shake, and we know this because we listen to Doughboys, got bought by a venture capitalist group, and they tried to expand them all over the country with a speed that just was untenable. And now most Steak and Shakes are closed. I think all the Steak and Shakes around us are closed at this point.
We have one left by me at Parmatown.
Is that one still open? Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the one that was close,
And one is still
the one that
your
was close to
comments.
your house box was turned into a Starbucks. I guess the one we went to after
The bachelor party?
a bachelor party is there. God, is the Steel Yard been around that long?
Steel Yard's been around for a long ass time now.
Wowzers!
Yep.
Wow, yeah. So I remember going there at a bachelor party, and like I said, that was before this venture capital firm owned them, and it was such a cool experience. It's just dope to be there that night, and of course watching Ant on the claw machine, because of course he always been this motherfucking claw beast. So just yeah, man.
I went there the other day for Christmas. The Christmas season, and I was hoping to get a white chocolate shake. They don't do the white chocolate shake anymore, and I said, all right, I'll try the eggnog shake. And they said, well, we don't have any. I'm like, well, damn it.
Yeah, that sucks.
So you don't got shit.
It's like how around us McDonald's hasn't had holiday pies.
Yeah, that sucked.
Oh, come on. If you're known for something, if you get the word out about something, get your shit together.
Get your shit together, world.
You fucking up. I'm tired of your bullshit.
So how do you guys handle it when your friend's excited about something and excited about a restaurant and you went there and you had a bad experience? Because I feel like shit right now, to answer your question.
Well, don't feel like shit. I felt like it wasn't a great experience, but like I really enjoyed that like you said your dessert was the best thing you had, right?
Oh yeah, the dessert was good. Like the steak was fine. I just felt that like they needed to salt it a little bit more. Like I don't think they seasoned it enough when they cooked it, but the meat itself was a nice cut. I remember like only like I even told the owner that like his one pork belly sucked ass, but like the other ones were really good. The hospitality was really good. Like the wait staff was nice, and the owner gave us free shit and free drinks and stuff. Like, you know, like it wasn't all amazing, but I thought the experience with everything in a vacuum was good enough to like give it a recommend. You know,
I like going to places like we were when I was talking what began the segment. Like I like going to places that are close to me. I worked in downtown Cleveland for 2 decades now, and going back downtown to Cleveland when I'm not working isn't something I want to do. Like for the most part, like if you're going to a game, yes, you have to go downtown. But like taking your family out to get something to eat or find an activity to do, like I want to find something to do that's close to me or something new that I can experience. So it was an experience, but like. Maybe it's just the wrong night to go, but I don't, you know. It was fine. Like I had a citrus cheesecake, which I really enjoyed. Like the white barbecue sauce they used on the turkey was really good. And most white barbecue sauces do not taste good, and that barbecue sauce was good. Like. I bring it up from time to time. Like it was Christmas Eve before we had kids. We went to some restaurant and everything was about to close. and my girlfriend ordered asabuco, and she didn't know what asabuco was yet.
Hmm.
And like that bad boy was at least $45, and she was just like, "I'm just gonna eat your food too." So it's not like it's the first time. It was something that she didn't like, so it was fine. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I remember once I had a friend who recommended like a restaurant he was kind of excited about, and they burnt the shit out of our wings. I guess they were trying to do a backyard barbecue style, but it was just burnt, and all I could taste was burnt on the wings. So I tried to like find positives about the place. They're like, oh, they served us whole wings. Isn't that great?
I mean, I kind of feel like, what do you think will hurt your friend's feelings the most? Like lying about it, or just being like, it just wasn't for me. I'm glad. Like, I would not ask Lunch to give me another suggestion or nothing like that. It's like, nah, you off suggestions. Fuck that shit. You can't tell me about another restaurant.
Well, like with this particular restaurant too, I was kind of curious because like I'd only been there the one time.
Yeah.
And they changed their menu like daily because it's like a self-sustaining farm situation.
Yeah.
So I was also kind of curious what you guys ended up ordering because like that turkey shit that you're talking about, like that wasn't on the menu the day we went. Yeah. So it's like I would that like it was like multiple things I was curious about.
Yeah.
So you sent him there out of curiosity more.
No, I asked
I didn't send him there at all. I talked about the restaurant on the show, and then he asked me about it.
Yeah, but
like,
because
okay.
I mean, this is a pandemic, and like usually, like we don't have anybody to watch the kids, so we didn't go out to restaurants or anything like that. But my mother was able to watch the kids. So I was like, I was like, dang, well, I need to take her somewhere, like, at least do something nice for her. Like, we've been in the house forever. So I was like, well, yeah, Dan told me about that place, so let me try it. And then it's not far from home. It's part of going to a restaurant is the new experience of it. And I really like the way, like all the tables are glass tops with like beans and all that.
I was literally just about to ask how you like the decor.
Yeah, it was nice.
Because like they got like the different cattle pictures in there, and the tables each were their own type of bean or seed or whatever under the glass tops. So like it had like a definite farm feel to it. Like when you pull in, it's like you don't pull into the parking lot of the restaurant. You pull in and you drive towards like a barn.
Yeah.
And then when you hit the barn, you hang a right, and then there's the parking lot for the restaurant. Because it's literally on its own farm. Like the people who run the restaurant own the farm.
Yeah. Like you think when you think you're there, you're still not there. And like it was like that part was cool, like because like we were going in and a farmer was clearly going into the barn. And we was like, I was like, did we just follow him? And then it wasn't.
Well, one of the things about the place too that like I would be willing to go back and give them another shot, but like I wouldn't want to do it until like summertime because like when my buddy went to that place with his girlfriend, like part of the reason that he like wanted to take me there so bad was because when they went in like early September when it was still light out until like 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got to sit outside on a patio and eat. Well, I hate sitting outside, but the windows in there are nice enough to where like you can see like the scenery on the farm, like off in the distance with everything. He said it's really, really pretty. So like I would like to go back when I can actually see outside because we went at the end of November where it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So our reservations were for like 6 p.m. So by the time we got there, it was pitch black outside.
Yeah.
Couldn't see shit. So I have no idea what the fucking farm looks like.
Yeah, I was excited the other day when I looked up. It was I won't forget this. It was 5:09. I looked out the window. I'm like, it's still light outside. Yes.
I literally was thinking the same thing for the last week because I look out the window at like 4:50ish and there's still some sunlight outside. I'm like, oh shit, it's coming back.
I just told that's the other day how like we must be on the other side. Well, we definitely are on the other side of the solstice because it's just slowly but surely creeping up. And not like by a lot either, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, about 20 more minutes of sunlight.
At a time.
Yeah.
Well, the solstice was almost what 20 days? Like
about shy of just a few days shy of a month ago. So
was that enough? That's almost what it's a minute a day, right?
Something to that effect, yeah. Box, just out of nowhere, I'm sorry to pull this out my fucking ass. What the fuck is up with this Harden trade? I don't understand how it functioned. It was 4 fucking teams. If you can kind of make it easy, explain it as you would a child. I'd be much appreciative.
Well, what is it that you want to know?
Who gave up what for what? Did we get anything worthwhile out of the deal on our end? And just your thoughts.
Okay. So, James Harden and his quarantine weight got traded to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, bro, he been looking so voluptuous, if you will. I've been like,
yeah, but he's still balling.
And he packed it on so quick.
Cause they
were only off for like a month.
A couple, but yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Well, no, if they finished up the last season at the end of October and they came back like 5 weeks later.
But he was like out like in like the first round, right? He wrapped up in the bubble like relatively quick. Didn't the Rockets get like?
Maybe. Yeah, you're probably right. You know,
I feel like the Rockets didn't even get out the first round.
But still, like he did in like 2 months, what took me a year. But anyway. Yeah, they finally got him up out of Houston because it seemed like he had like 20 people ready to stab his ass. Like it was about to be like Jon Snow in that scene in Game of Thrones, just like gang, 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 gang.
Oh
man. So they dumped him off to the Brooklyn Nets, who are going through their own troubles right now with Kyrie just no call, no showing to work, but then showing up his shit online. It's like texting your boss, like, I don't feel good, I ain't gonna be in today. And then they see you on the beach on, like, the news or whatever.
Oh, my God.
But the Nets traded a couple foreign dudes I never heard of. That I can't even pronounce their names because it looks like somebody dumped out a Scrabble bag on the table. So the Nets traded 3 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps. So what it is because of an owner the Cavs had back in the 80s, an NBA team can't trade future first-round picks in back-to-back years, but you can do a pick swap because then like each team still has a first-round pick. So I don't know the years that the Nets got. Like I didn't write that shit down. Like you kind of put me on the spot with this, but they get first-round pick swap. First-round pick swap, first-round pick swap. I think they start off with a pick swap because they got 3 first-rounders from the Nets, and then the 4th one they got is the Milwaukee Bucks pick that we sent them. So we had the Bucks first-round pick next year, and we sent that out. We sent out a second-round pick, I think, for 2024 that we got from the Jazz or something. That went to New Jersey. And then we traded Dante Exum, who, like, kind of sucks ass, and he was just he was out for like 2 months because he hurt his calf last week, so he wasn't even playing now. We shipped him to Houston, and we got back basically like a dude to play backup power forward / small forward. Okay. He's okay. Like, he'll have a role, but he's not like a world beater. And then we got a 22-year-old up-and-coming center prospect who, like, will probably be the Cavs center going forward. Like, he's going to be a restricted free agent at the end of this year. So the Cavs are either going to probably try to trade Andre Drummond by the trade deadline and give that dude the minutes. At the very least, they're going to let Andre Drummond walk at the end of the year and then just try and sign this young kid to a long-term deal. The Nets obviously got James Harden. And then the Pacers traded Victor Oladipo to the Rockets in exchange for a young up-and-coming kid that the Nets had. The Pacers originally wanted to keep Oladipo, but it's pretty common knowledge at this point that he wanted the fuck out of there because he wants to go to Miami. So I think the Rockets are hoping that they can just sign him to a long-term deal, but more than likely he's probably going to try and ditch out on them at the end of the season to go to Miami.
He been kind of balling out.
Why'd you want to go to Miami so bad?
It's a good squad to go to, man. They got a good coach. They are a playoff contender. You know what I'm saying? Hell, they were in the championship. You know what I'm saying, this year. So I was fucking going to Miami.
plus a state with like no income tax.
Yeah.
Oh.
'Cause that was something I read this morning. Is now that James Harden's going from Texas to New York, he's going to end up having to pay $13.5 million in taxes. But so yeah, the deal was basically Indiana got a young guy that they have some control over, who's like got some talent. Probably at this point not as good as Victor Oladipo, but could be solid for next couple years. The Cavs got their center of the future for basically nothing. Like that first round pick we got from the Bucks, like they got Giannis now. Like that pick was gonna be at the bottom of the first round, wasn't gonna be shit anyway. And then they gave a second round pick that's like 4 years out, so, and that that don't mean shit. So the Cavs gave up nothing and got their future center. The Nets got James Harden, so they're gonna try and make that shit work. And then the Rockets got like basically the Nets first round pick for the next decade.
Okay.
But then, strangely enough, like Kyrie's not playing this stuff, right?
Well, like I was looking into some shit today, reading, and they were saying like that the Nets did this as a way to kind of hedge their bets against Kyrie's craziness. So like if Kyrie decides to like just never show up to work anymore, at least then they still have James Harden and Kevin Durant.
But apparently no center, no standard, traditional guy who plays center on their squad right now.
No, they got DeAndre Jordan
Okay.
still.
Okay.
I don't know why the fuck ESPN didn't put him in that picture they put out on the Twitter feed yesterday. They put like Jeff Green at center, and I'm like, what? Because like one of the ESPN analysts I follow for football, she quote tweeted it, and she's like, even Jeff Green doesn't understand why he's in this graphic.
Yeah, it was a bit too many people and too many. This draft pick, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. So I kind of needed it to make sense. Thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah, the Rockets were just trying to get him out of there because his team was ready to fucking kill him. He started running his mouth to the media.
Yeah.
Like I saw some like the media availability for DeMarcus Cousins yesterday. I watched it last night, and it was like 10 minutes of them just like asking him what the team thought about James Harden being a bitch. And like the disrespect from the shit that he said to the media. He's like, this shit's been going on since like training camp. And you could just tell that like DeMarcus Cousins was trying to be very nice to the media, but like you could tell that the team just want to smack the shit out of James Harden.
That is yeah. I don't be fucking with Boogie. Boogie always getting caught up in fighting. Don't make an enemy of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
I think like tearing his Achilles and knees and shit up for the last like 3 years has kind of mellowed him out.
Hey, man, he just got ejected the other night. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. He got in a fight the other night.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Oh shit, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that.
I think he got in a fight the other night. Then he got 2 texts the other night.
he got double teed up. That's how he got sent on his merry way. Which is, standard.
I watched like almost all the Cavs games this year. I watched like a quarter of the one the other night. It got tough to keep watching the Cavs games because like half their fucking team's on the injured list right now. So it's like they were playing like 4 big men the other day. They didn't have like it was like a shooting guard and like 4 centers because they don't have any fucking healthy people.
Oh my god!
Like all their point guards are hurt. Like their starting shooting guards hurt. Like fuck, even like Andre Drummond missed the other night with like a sore calf. Like they got like nobody. They're down to like the D League guys that are on the team.
They gonna rope it up here.
Like Darius Garland's been out because he fell on his shoulder at the end of like the Pacers game, I think it was. Sexton has been hurt because he turned his ankle. Their rookie missed like 6 games with a sprained ankle earlier on. Dellavedova hasn't played at all this year because he got a concussion like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Fucking Exum, who they traded away in that trade, he went out last week and he was going to be out for 2 months with a strained calf. Kevin Love hasn't played since like opening night with a strained calf. The rookie that they drafted at the end of the first round last year, all right, so they drafted 3 dudes last year in the first round, right? The first one, Darius Garland, is like I said, he's out with a shoulder strain. The second one that didn't play all last year because he had a stress fracture in his leg, he came back and he broke his hand in the season opener this year, so he's been out. The third one hasn't played at all this year because he got popped with gun charges like 3 weeks before the season started. So like the Cavs have had like fucking nobody.
And play decent.
Yeah, they had the second best defense in the league right now, and they have nobody on their team. They just got a bunch of scrappy dudes. Like, it's just a bunch of tall motherfuckers throwing lobs to each other. It's like you got JaVale McGee out there chucking up threes and Larry Nance trying to do one-arm windmill dunks and shit. Like, it's just they have no one. Like, Larry Nance has been playing point guard at times. That's how fucking rough it is right now.
We'll figure it out. Will we make the playoffs? We're better than Detroit. Detroit looking tragic this season, man.
Well, Detroit's fucking terrible, and they know they're terrible. They're rebuilding, like that's a given. But the Cavs, honestly, I feel like it's nice that they're competing, but the injuries I think are going to help them in a way because like they probably need like one more lottery-esque pick before they really try and play. So like this season of like losing but not intentionally losing will probably do them some good. Like, but like you're right. Like that's what I've watched. Like I watched all the preseason, and then I watched every game up until like the last two because like I'm like, fuck, man. Like you have nobody. I know you're gonna get blown out by like 40 here. I'm not about to waste 2.5 hours of my life. But like they were fighting. Like their offense at times is a little rough to watch. Like they struck. Like some games they get real hot, and then some games they can't hit the broadside of a barn. So, like, you know, but their defense was keeping them in every game, you know. So, like, it's a nice young team that has some good pieces and a GM that's made some good trades the last, like, 2 years. So, I'm not saying that, like, they're ready to ascend to, like, some sort of top-tier team because they definitely, like, they need a superstar. But they have, like, some pretty good building block pieces.
Yeah. I'm just happy for him. I'm always just a Cleveland fan, man. Like I said, I think we all were just stunned and shocked this weekend when the Browns did what they did. Bro,
yeah, shit.
That was. I called off work on Monday because of that.
How can you be? It's like only Cleveland can you be like just crushing the team and still everybody like this could go bad fast. People, we know how this goes
because it was exactly how it fucking went down in 2003. Like
was it 2?
Well, the season was 2002, but the game itself was played in 2003.
I remember they lost to Pittsburgh 3 times that year.
But like, so that playoff game that went down, that happened in January of 2003, that was the first football game I ever watched. So like, yeah, that game, the fucking Browns got a lead. Then they played prevent defense. Then the Steelers came back. Then the Browns had an opportunity to put the game away, and they fucked it up, and then the Steelers won. In this game, the Browns got a lead. Then they played prevent defense. Then the Steelers came back, and then the Browns had an opportunity to put the game away. And the difference is this time they actually fucking succeeded, and they pushed the lead back out and secured the game. But, you know, that's like a nice abbreviated version of what happened. But imagine sitting through that for 2.5 hours, 3 hours or whatever it was. So it's like you're just sitting there and you're going, holy shit, they're doing it again. They're doing the same thing they did 18 years ago. I've seen this before. It's the same script. So it's like I told my buddies, I'm like, it's like we're in some sort of like alternate timeline now where all the shit that would go wrong for the Browns or Cleveland in general, well, in this instance, we're just going to say the Browns. But like, it's the shit that like would go wrong. Now it's going our way. It's like someone took like karma and flipped it. And it's like, instead of losing all the games, now we're going to squeak them all out somehow. Like, I keep looking at Twitter every day going, is this the day Mahomes gets COVID?
Don't you put that emoji?
I'm not hoping for it, but I just feel like in this new Browns timeline that like that's the thing that's going to bring down the chefs. It's going to be like game day, and it's going to be like, oh, Patrick Mahomes out, test positive for COVID, going to miss the game against the Browns.
That game was apparently the highest rated TV event since last Super Bowl. So most of the nation, football watching nation and football watching world was on that game. And they all, if you saw Twitter Sunday night, it was, what the fuck? Everybody was like, it was like, you go to Twitter, and if you didn't realize football was on, you might have been like, oh God, has something happened? But no, it was just the Browns was doing what was unheard of. People thought we was gonna get mollywopped. Everybody spoke about how this was gonna be us showing up and getting our ass just handed to us.
Well, and the thing about it all is, it's like the Browns have sucked ass for so long that everyone in the world just assumed that like it would never
Browns
change.
Gonna be the Browns.
I want one of those t-shirts so bad.
Yeah, so like, I'm not saying the Browns are the best team in the NFL. They're not. Like their defense is actually pretty poor, but like their offense is really fucking good. And like, I feel like there's just this like, people bet against Baker Mayfield because he's shorter than most quarterbacks, and because they didn't like his like brash attitude in college, and when he got to the pros, he was still kind of talking shit. So like, people just soured on him, and now it's like, I feel like the media, or most of the media, wants to see him fail. So like, they just look at the Browns, and because they don't like Baker Mayfield, like I know for a fact that the one show on FS1, the morning show, First Take, the fucking lesbian host lady, she hates Baker Mayfield, and she doesn't hide it at all. She shit talks the Browns every chance she gets. Even like when she's like presenting the topic to the panel, she gets jabs in for the Browns and Baker Mayfield when she's doing it. Like, and it's like the media is just full of people like that. They just like heard Baker Mayfield talk some shit a couple years ago or whatever the case may be, and now it's just like, the fact that like at times they have to give him credit for playing well just fucking eats away at their soul. So it's like when the Browns go up against the Steelers, they're like, oh, the Browns haven't beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh in like 20 years. So it's like, and they're the Browns, and they have Baker Mayfield. There's no fucking way they're going to win this game. And like, yeah, like we're probably the underdog based on history, but like we're not the underdog based on how the fact the Steelers are playing like shit for the last month and a half, and the Browns been playing pretty fucking well. Like, and so it's like we go in there and we just start mollywopping on people, and they're like, "How are they doing this? They're the Browns." But like,
fucking turnovers.
People, yeah, like, but it's like, you know, teams try to get better every year, and like it's just like they don't want to accept the fact that the Browns are getting better. Like they're still holding on to the fact that the Browns have like been shit. And also that the Browns find new and interesting ways to kind of rip the fans' heart out. Like, if there's a way to lose a game over the last 20 years, the Browns have found it. Like, they've been really excellent at, you know, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And so it's like, they're also kind of like gun shy because like, sports analysts like to make you think that they know everything and that like they have the right answers and what they think is going to happen. So like, the Browns were always a safe bet. You know, just bet against the Browns. You know, whatever team they're playing, pick them and you'll win. You'll look good on TV. So now, like, the Browns winning games is bad for their MO because it's like they got to go on TV and, like, explain why, you know, they were wrong and the Browns are winning. Like, I watched, like, shit this week and, like, you know, we mollywopped the fucking Steelers, and it's like the one show has a couple former NFL players as the hosts, Marcellus Wiley and Emmanuel Acho. Marcellus Wiley is not like Emmanuel Acho actually was drafted by the Browns, so like he gives like Baker Mayfield and them props, and he like presents an argument that like he frames it in a way where he tries to present the Browns as being a good team that deserves respect. And Marcellus Wiley doesn't think very highly of Baker Mayfield. So even like if the stats are good and the Browns are doing well, he still finds a way to just try and diminish Baker Mayfield. So like he spent an entire week just talking shit and saying how like badly the Steelers are going to beat the shit out of us. And then after like we mollywop them the next day, it's just like they start off the show with Marcellus Wiley making an analogy about like a young black kid about to get like a whooping from his mama. And he's like, he's like, it's like when you're young and your mama's about to give you a whooping, but she like gives you those moments to try and explain yourself before she hits you. He's like, I feel like that's what's about to happen right now, where like I'm about to say my piece in this argument, and Emmanuel is just on the other side of this table, just waiting to give me that work. But then it's like he like spends his time arguing about how like the Browns only won because we got that like those couple early touchdowns, and that like we were actually blowing the game because the Steelers are coming back. And it's like, yeah, they were coming back because we played prevent defense for 3 fucking quarters. We let them get 20-yard gains because we were trying to kill the clock.
The Browns only won because they scored more points, is what that motherfucker just said, basically.
Yeah.
God, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah, then he's like, if the Browns were to play Steelers again this week, the Steelers would whoop them. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here.
We 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That shit.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, the Steelers are fucking done. I'm declaring it right here.
Okay, I told
The Steelers are fucking done. Like they're gonna have a couple good players left, but that team, like, I don't know if there's anyone that listens to this shit that gives a fuck about anything we're talking about right now, Browns football or Steelers football, but that's fine. But the Steelers are fucking done, and I'm not just saying that as like a bravios Browns fan. Like, I'm just saying from a dude who looks at like the business nature of football, the Steelers are fucking done. They have like a dude, a quarterback who's about to be 39 that looks like someone that's in those like I've fallen and I can't get up commercials. Like, they have like 20 free agents on their team. They're about to be $21 million over the cap going into this offseason. So they got to cut people just to get under the fucking cap. Then they're going to have to sign like 25 motherfuckers to the team just to have a team to be able to play. Like, they're fucking done. Like, their reign of dominance over our division is fucking over. They don't have a quarterback. Like, even if Ben comes back, I'm supposed to think that all of a sudden now at like damn near 40, he's about to get better. Like, it's like Drew Brees and Tom Brady are older than him, but like it's like the people who took care of themselves and went to the gym and ate right. And then you got the dude who was just kind of naturally athletic and didn't have to work hard and he just got by. But now that like we're all older, he never learned to work out and he didn't learn to eat right. So he's coming in with a little bit of a beer belly, got that double chin flowing, and he can't quite keep up anymore. Yeah, like there was a reason he was Big Ben. So it's like now he can't keep up because his body ain't recovering as fast and he doesn't move as fast as he used to, and he doesn't want to take hits because it's hard to get back up. Like you saw when they snapped that ball over his head, that bitch didn't want to jump on it. But it's an exciting time to be a Cleveland Browns football fan, because while Patrick Mahomes may be the reigning terror at QB for the next 15 years in the NFL or whatever the case may be, I feel like the Browns have a good shot at least sneaking in 1 or 2 over the next 15 years. Because, like, even, the fucking Patriots didn't win every year, so.
It's true.
Yeah, listen! That's called motherfucking bars, nigga! You don't know nothing about that!
I love when I see that shit on Instagram. I got, like, the one dude I follow that always posts some weird shit, and he uses that as a reaction sometimes. I will, it's funny, too, like, you guys saw the shit the other day that Chase Claypool said, he's on like a TikTok live, which I didn't even know TikTok had lives.
No.
And I was like, what? TikTok has lives? I thought it was just like Vine videos, but I digress. Apparently, someone said something to him in the TikTok chat, and he said it was okay that the Browns were going to get clapped by the Chiefs this week anyway. So he's being a little salty bitch. Well, apparently he was on like a Canadian sports show being interviewed today about it, because I guess he's from Canada, and like he kind of like doubled down on it. He said that like he said it because the Browns weren't being classy winners, and that they were like picking on Juju after the game. I'm like, if that motherfucker hadn't opened his mouth, none of that shit would have happened.
Exactly. The Browns gonna be the Browns. We just gonna leave that shit right there, man.
Yeah, like
Fuck
that whole
hearing that nonsense.
dancing. I'm glad we won. Not just because of it's good morale for the city, but to shut him up.
Oh, it's all good, people. I mean, I guess I have pulled a segment out of Dan unintentionally, but I needed some shit there. Gabriel, do you have anything you want to add to this tale of tales? What's the problem with you?
I'm I'm just living just enough to
How's
sleep.
that rum
enough.
feeling?
Just enough.
I was literally just about to ask him the same thing.
It's hitting me. I mean, I'm not lightweight. I mean, I don't drink too often.
What do you think of the taste of it?
It's really good. I wish I didn't put it in Diet Coke because I hate Diet Coke. Wish I had regular Coke for it, but that's all I had.
Yeah, I really like that shit. To me, it tastes kind of like a sweeter Dr. Pepper or something like that.
You drink it straight?
It looks like you only got
I
that much
recommend
left.
it.
Go ahead.
What? No, this is how much I got left. I got most of the bottle
I was
left.
asking Box, you drink that straight?
I have tried it straight, but like I usually mix it
Should I take a swig?
into like a soda. But I did try it straight. It is pretty good.
I don't know if I got it in me. I'm bored to buzz.
I'm not saying drink a whole fucking glass. Just put a little in your mouth, you know. Not to peer pressure you, but I'm like when we say take a drink, we don't mean drink a whole fucking glass. Just like
Caleb says no.
I just wanted you to taste it because I want to know what you
Maybe
thought
next time.
of it by its on its lonesome. So
it smells fucking amazing too.
It's good stuff.
check me
It's
out
good
buying
stuff.
liquor.
I'm enjoying this rum right now. I'm buzzed. I'm pretty much a lightweight, and there used to be I'll have to say there used to be a source of shame back in high school and college. Like, oh, you're lightweight, huh? Now it's like it makes economic sense that it doesn't take that much alcohol to get you going.
Well, like, don't people assume that like Latinos naturally have a high tolerance because of all the drinking they do?
I guess they assume that. I don't drink that much. So this little bit, this one mixture of rum and Coke, and I drink a decent amount of this bottle, though. If I hold it up to you guys in the camera, it was up to here. It's now down to here.
Well, I mean, you gotta figure too, like the tip of the bottle, it's like a gas tank, you know, like it rounds off, so you don't you have less or than you think you
It's
do.
tricky.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
That stuff, though, like, it's not necessarily high in alcohol content, but, like, I think the sweetness of it, too, kind of, like, triggers you a little bit. Because, like, when I drank it, it hit me real quick, but it's like that sharp alcohol kind of ting in the body. Like, when I drink, like, a White Claws kind of fuck me up, because it's like, I was told that it's really just vodka with seltzer water, and, like, there's just something about it where, like, I get kind of like a weird hangover, sickly feeling when I'm drinking shit like that.
I'm gonna have to buy a 6-pack of Coke or Pepsi to go with this shit. Not Diet Coke.
Just keep. You know what you gotta do? Get you the little 8-ounce cans, not the 12-ounce cans. Some little shorties. You just tuck it to the side, and that's for your. That's just for your. You know, making a bev. You know.
I wonder how it would be with root beer. Because they're both very spicy. Yeah, they both are like sweet and spicy.
Very good. Get your sip on.
Well, I appreciate this rum this good quality rum, this fancy rum that Tayro got me, and I'm feeling it. Am I drunk enough to give out advice from old Uncle Gabe? I don't have any lined up. I guess one piece of advice I have. I guess this is good advice. Even if they can't see your crotch in a Zoom or a Teams meeting, don't pull your dick out. Don't risk it.
Never.
No matter how tempted you may be.
Hey, I mean, like, Louis C.K. would have asked him if it was okay.
Somebody should do a bit Louis C.K. in, like, the Zoom time. That joke writes itself.
I noticed Louis C.K. starting to kind of, like, drift back into the mainstream some. Because remember, like, when I went and saw his show at Hilarities like a year ago, parts of that bit are now popping up in my YouTube feed. So the material he's been working on seems to be kind of like pushing its way back into the main.
We're a forgiving society. You know what? Once upon a time, Mike Tyson was brought up on rape charges, and now he's like adorable.
Mean, like with Louis C.K., I feel like it was very obvious that some people were way more angry and disturbed by what happened than others were. So the fact that he's like a free man, I feel like his road to recovery and acceptance is a lot shorter than, say, someone like a Bill Cosby.
I feel like he learned his lesson.
He does kind of broach that topic in his stand-up. Yeah,
Tyson did his time. He, I mean, it's just kind of how I feel about that person. He did. I think did he do 5 or 7 years, something like that? He did a stretch in Indiana of all places.
He lost a good chunk of his prime.
So it's like if society works like by the rules we have seemed to say is, saying you go to jail, you get rehabilitated, and you move on. Then he did what he was supposed to have done.
C.K. every
Yeah, Louis C.K. never caught a bid, and I don't think he had to pay or anything or got sued or anything either, right? So
no.
Like
CK just got a tisk. Don't jack off in front of people.
Before we were recording tonight, I was on YouTube and I searched Browns and I was looking to see if there was any new Browns videos up, and I noticed there was a 3.5 minute video up of O.J. Simpson talking about the Chase Claypool bullshit that we were talking about a few minutes ago. So I put that video on and I listened to O.J. Simpson talk for 3 minutes. And I was just I came away from the end of that video going, he sounds like a pleasant guy. I'm not sure he murdered that lady.
I mean, to a court of law,
they didn't prove that case. So all you know OJ being convicted of is stealing back his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm okay with it. I'm not saying I'm an OJ fan or anything. I'm just saying
I'm not saying that I'm not sitting here saying that murder is a good thing. But I will say, if he did murder that lady and he had the foresight to put a bloody glove in the crime scene that does not fit his own hand,
I never thought
fucking
of that
criminal
angle.
mastermind.
Congratulations, Dan.
Hey, don't put a racist cop on as your star witness.
German. Sound like a nigga say nigga a lot to me.
Sherman, Furman.
It's a slow process.
And then later he appeared on Fox News as
whatever analyst.
You don't think Don Lemon going to go back to the old Don Lemon now?
Don Lemon done given Don Lemon free. He ain't never going back. He is happily out and you know what I'm saying, and just I want to see what he does in a time of more left leaning leadership in Washington. We'll see how we'll see how it plays out.
Was he like the Al Roker and the Chappelle skit when he got
this is my real voice right here. Straight gangster, bitch.
Straight gangster.
Well, that all being said, how we do it every week. We slide on into a little bit of Emma the Asshole. But this week, we hand the reins of Emma the Asshole over to Daniel, who's going to hold us down. Again, I told you, it was just a day, people, and your mans couldn't get to it. So I hit up the fam.
Again, they don't need to know that.
People, I don't know. Credit must be given, and respect must be shown at all times, especially in this operation. And so I had to hit the homies up and be like, please, and they have come through for me, and it's pretty dope.
Yeah. So I opened up 5 Am I the Assholes. Now, I will give the caveat that not all of them, I believe, have been. Only one of them has a distinction at the top that decides whether they're an asshole or not. I think the jury is still out on the other 4. Because, I was looking at them all, and, usually when you do it, they're like, oh, Reddit has decided this person is not the asshole. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? Because everyone I'm looking at, there's nothing that says that. And then I finally got further down the page, and I saw a couple that had, a brightly colored stamp of, not the asshole. I'm like, oh. So all these ones I opened up here with all this interaction, they're still, jury's out. So here are the 5. Am I the asshole for telling my future fiance that I won't help pay her student loan debt? Am I the asshole for refusing to stop cooking potatoes?
Sexy potatoes.
Am I the asshole for telling my fiance that he isn't my son's real dad and to stop acting like it?
Ooh.
Am I the asshole for telling my roommate's boyfriend that mental health issues are not a substitute for personality? Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend if he wanted a, quote, easy job like mine, he should have gotten a degree or made an effort to do so?
Jesus Christ.
My favorite was the potato one. I got to hear that one, but I'm willing to see what you guys want to hear because the other ones
I agree.
but the potato me.
Now, full disclosure too, I didn't read any of them. I just looked at the titles and kind of skimmed to see if they seemed plausible and not stupid. So, because there was one that I opened that was "Am I the asshole for letting my son Naruto run?" And I kind of skimmed through it, and I'm like, this isn't worth our time.
Personally, I hate when kids Naruto run.
So, okay. So, all right, am I the asshole for refusing to stop cooking potatoes? Not sure how I feel about this one. It happened about an hour ago. So context, I'm a 34 male, a vegetarian. My partner 34 isn't. Female 34 isn't. She eats anything and everything. I'm in my diet for health reasons. I'm not doing it for the animals. And she eats a lot of meat. She doesn't care about my diet and I don't care about hers. It's very civil and nice. No problems. A month ago, she decides she's going to do keto. Lots of meat and fats. Cool, no big deal here. However, she can't have any carbs. Again, no big deal here until today. I'm cooking potatoes, eggs, and cheese. I throw a bit of salt and some onion powder in it. Admittedly, it throws out some awesome smells into the whole house. While I'm making it, she comes in and asks that I stop making potatoes. I give her the side-eyed, what the hell look. She explains that it makes it harder for her to stick to her keto diet if she's smelling potatoes all the time. My comeback was to state that I never say anything about all the meat she cooks in the house. Duck, pork stomach, chicken, etc. And she goes, you don't even care enough, though. All right, you don't even care, though. I actually care about this. We got into it, and it basically ended with me saying, I love potatoes. I'm a veggie. If I want to cook potatoes every day, then I can do that because you cook meat anytime you want. It's been an hour, and I'd like to do my due diligence. Am I the asshole for refusing to stop cooking potatoes? Edit, I'm a vegetarian to be healthier, not because of medical reason. Edit 2, yes, the potatoes were very sexy. It literally says that. I'm not making it up.
I love it. They know, man. Sexy potatoes still holding it down. No, they're not an asshole. Their roommate is an asshole. Their roommate is, I'm not even gonna say. Well, okay, their roommate didn't start as an asshole, but became an asshole when they decided that we was gonna scrap about it. So the roommate is the asshole of the situation. Bruh just was like, I'm just trying to live and eat, man. Come on.
Yeah, these days and times make shit harder. With trying to respect your partner who eats differently than you do, and then you be in the house with them pretty much 24 hours a day. Shit's kind of hard, but no, they're not the asshole.
Yeah, I'm skimming through the replies right now, and it seems like the majority of what I'm reading here in the comments seem to agree that this man's not an asshole.
What's up?
Nothing though that really stands out as need to read on the show worthy. It's mostly just keep making your potatoes, man. Not the asshole.
Mash those potatoes.
Yeah, there's no expertly worded, well thought out you're not the asshole for this reason. It's just dog. Keep making potatoes.
There's one that showed up of. Actually, there's another one I want to hear. There was one you read and I want to hear. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the third one. If you just were going across your tabs.
Am I the asshole for telling my fiance that he isn't my
son's
son's real dad?
I want to know about that one.
Okay. So we're all in agreement, not the asshole on the potatoes?
No. Cook your potatoes, man.
Okay. All right, I'm going to close that tab then. All right, so am I the asshole for telling my fiance that he isn't my son's real dad and to stop acting like it? I, 31 female, think I said something bad, but at the same time, I stand by it. So at the age of 17, I got into a relationship with a boy who was in my class. I broke up with him after 4 years because he was battling a drug addiction. We had a son together 3 years into dating. Unfortunately, my ex-addiction took him when he was 24 years old. It was the worst thing that I've ever experienced, and I was completely heartbroken. I was so in love with him, and he tried to be the best father he could even through his troubles. I didn't think about getting into another relationship until I met my now fiance, 32-year-old male. He's the best thing that happened to me after losing my ex and the father of my son. My fiance has an amazing relationship with my child, but now it's bringing up bad feelings. My partner has started referencing my child as his son. Like he tells people that he has a son and everything. I can't help but think that by letting him do it, I'm disrespecting my son's biological dad. I don't want my son to forget who his actual father is, and I definitely don't want any other man to try and replace him. I brought this up to my fiancé. He was offended because he's been in my son's life for 5 years and treats him like his own. He thinks I should be happy that my son has a father figure in his life. I then told him that he is not his father and to stop acting like he is. Now he is giving me the cold shoulder. I told my mom because I wanted her opinion, and she thinks I'm being cruel, and she even said that my fiancé is more of a dad to my son than his actual dad because his dad chose drugs over him, which I think is completely disrespectful to say about my dead ex-boyfriend. I feel like a shitty person, but surely I'm entitled to my feelings. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to say yes,
It
too.
is a life I live. Y'all know that. I have a partner, and my children's mother unfortunately passed away. And so I live this life. Sometimes Vanessa be saying some shit, and I'm just like, look, man, I sometimes I have to put down the law and be like, look, sometimes it has to be what I say is just the rule. I'm going to say some stuff. Every now and again, we are going to disagree on matters, and it has to be that I am the one who says shit. But I love that my children have her in their lives, and they seem to love it as well. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their ups and downs. Sometimes she going to say something that's going to be like, God damn it, I ain't trying to clean my room, Vanessa. But they going to get their room clean because it just is what it is. So I would never tell her, you ain't think mama don't and whatever because or think it's somehow disrespectful to my children's mother. I feel like my children's mother met and knew Vanessa, and there is a difference there. And so she very much was like Vanessa and was fine with Vanessa in my life and in the children's lives. And so there's, I guess, where you could say there's a bit of a difference here. Like that her ex died of a drug overdose and never got a chance to meet this guy to know if he would be okay with him or not. But then I flip it. It's like it is clear she is nowhere near over her.
I feel like that young lady needs some therapy. And
a lot of it.
I don't want to call her an asshole. I think she has some unresolved issues. So
correct.
So before we get any further, I do want to say there is a comment on this that is like in a giant red box with a golden star and stuff. So I think Reddit does have sort of like their chosen answer that I can read once we're done discussing.
Well, yeah. So just like I said, just in general, I truly don't feel like I feel like it was an assholey thing to say to a person you're considering spending a lifetime with, who is going to if that was going to be the case, would be a father figure to your child and your eventual children if you have children together.
I feel like at this point too, the man would have to decide if he really wants to commit to this. Because, like, if he's going in, trying to act like accept that child as his son, it's like similar to how, like, my step parents treat me like their child. Like, the mom has to be on board with that. Like, it can't be the dude's all in and the mom is just fucking wishy-washy, keeping him at bay for the rest of their lives. Like, that's no way to live. Like, you're either all in or you're not.
Exactly. What does the glowy box say?
So, the glowing box says, wow, you're the asshole. Your fiancé is going above and beyond and being a father to your child. You should probably talk to someone about your grief. It's a fact that your son's father chose drugs over getting help so he could be a better father. You're blessed to have a man care about your son and choose him the way he does. You're just being cruel. It doesn't honestly sound like you're really ready for a relationship.
Which is the same kind of point we just came to. That is a...
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because I read that box while you guys were talking, and I'm like, oh, they agree with Anthony.
I just kind of feel like I want to hear Stan play underneath there. When she's gonna go, I wonder why.
Yeah, I feel bad for her. Like I said, that I could hear her pain in just that in that writing. It's just that's so sad, and you hope.
I feel like some of the people though saying like the dad chose drugs over the kid, like I think that's a bit of oversimplification. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a bit of an oversimplification because like addiction's fucking tough, whether you got kids or not.
Did you see did the original the OP have any response of any sort? You see a little blue microphone somewhere in there in the conversation?
Like, would it be in like
it would just have a little
section?
blue mic next to it, meaning that they responded to something. I don't know if you see any blue mics.
Yeah, I'm scrolling down and I don't see any blue
so
microphones anywhere.
She never responded. So, and who knows? Maybe her eyes got open, or maybe her man. But
I do see like scrolling down here, like the majority of the replies start off with "you're the asshole." Like I don't really see any that like say anything to the contrary.
A lot of people in his family deal with addiction. Like, I don't feel like the dad chose addiction over the child. I think that's kind of a assholey thing to say for the people who are saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, getting mixed up. Yeah, I mean,
addiction's fucking tough. I deal with it every fucking day. Like, it's not a drug addiction; it's a food addiction. Like, I'm not saying that my addiction's any better or any worse than anybody else's. But addiction's fucking addiction, man. Like, if you can't stop yourself all the time from doing shit that you know that you shouldn't do, it's like there are times where like I'll eat something and like it starts off with me just like living a normal life day to day, like I'm doing whatever, and then just this thought pops into my head, and then it like comes out of the blue, and then it's like I obsess about it, and then I go, oh, I shouldn't do that, and then I keep it at bay for a while, and then it's like the next thing I know, it's like I'm eating Oreos. Yeah, I'm doing it. And then it's like that instant, like, how the fuck did this happen? I told myself I wasn't going to do that sets in. And then it's like you try and stop yourself from continuing. And it's just a cycle that repeats day after day after day.
Because, like, with food, you have to have food. Like, day in and day out, you have to eat. And, yeah.
And it's fucking everywhere. And it's like there's apps in my phone that bring it to me now. Like drugs, there's a little more like you gotta go get it.
There's no heroin commercials. When you just live your regular everyday life, there's Oreo commercials or cheeseburger commercials, or like there's no, hey, let's take some acid. Brought to you by the acid campaign. There's there's not that, but like in your everyday life, there's just you could just be walking down the street taking a healthy walk. There's an Oreo wrapper on the ground or a Snickers wrapper. You're like, oh man, that would be fucking good right now. It's very hard. So yeah, addiction is a mother.
That's why I try and do like the fasting, because like fasting helps like in that it's a less opportunity for me to overeat, and then also it shrinks my stomach so that when I do get into like say a relapse of sorts, my body kind of like taps out a lot quicker than if I was just eating normally. So it's a kind of like a built-in safety mechanism.
Self-rejection. Yeah.
All
right, so I got one of these that I actually is in my photos from some weeks back that I don't even have a link to it. I have no idea what the results of this will be. I just want to read it to you. That way it's read and out of my photos. This is an Am I the Asshole. I can't tell you what day I took this. I got, like I said, I just got the screenshots of it off of Twitter, and nobody put the links up. Somebody was like, "Look at this motherfucker," and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Look at this motherfucker." So this is just bad, okay? I want you to know that off the rip. Just off the title alone, this is terrible. Am I the asshole for refusing to allow the hospital to discharge my wife to me? My wife now has stage 4 colon cancer. For the past year and a half, I have had to work and then come home to do the majority of household chores, and I was also treated as the nurse. We have 2 sons, 18 and 16, and a daughter, 15, that help out. But it became expected of me to be their go-to parent on everything. A year ago, my wife pretty much stopped being able to do anything for herself. She's exceptionally rude to me and pretty much screams and cries hysterically all the time, and sometimes mutters on about people who haven't been in our lives for some time. She also blames me for not being kind to her when I'm putting my entire life on hold, when I'm at home, and felt like I didn't even have an identity anymore. Over the summer, I have talked to doctors, and they told me there was a lot of red tape regarding getting my wife into a nursing home. I talked to my dad, 74 male, and he told me that from his understanding, hospitals, if you don't pick up a patient after discharge, 3 days later, the hospital social worker would have to place them in a specialized nursing facility. Last week, my wife had to be rushed to the emergency room for the week. I didn't have to be her nurse. I realized how much of a strain taking care of a barely lucid and angry when she was lucid woman had become to me. I realized that I was basically being mom and dad around the house, and I was so tired of being this every single day and then waking up at 6 to go to work. When I found out my wife was set to be discharged, I ended up making up my mind. When the hospital called to say that they were going to discharge my wife and I needed to be there to receive her, I told them that I did. I guess they missed some of it. Anyway, when I found my wife was set to be discharged, I told them that I did not want to take care of her anymore. The hospital continuously called me back, and the person on the other line would beseech me to bring my wife home. However, I stood my ground and said that my wife needed to go to the professional nursing facility and said the hospital social worker needed to figure that out. Am I the asshole finally realized that I had reached my limits? My daughter in particular is very upset that her mom is not coming home. My son screamed at me that they would take care of their mother 24/7 if they had to. However, I knew that the hospital social worker would do his or her job completely and help my wife into a facility. Competently, and help my wife into a facility. Again, I have no link to the original of this. I cannot tell you the way this went or ebbed or flowed. I never read it, so that was a lot. Now that I've actually read it, because the people who were talking about it were like, "This motherfucker's a piece of shit," and I'm just like,
as
maybe
dealing
not.
with somebody who I was very close with who had cancer. It was like sometimes when my brother was in the hospital, he was very snippy, and it was just like he was dealing with having cancer. He was dealing with, because I think my brother had stage 3 cancer, but he would just be like mean for no reason sometimes, and like you're just there trying to help, and like, you know, he would say stuff like, "You don't understand what I'm going through," and I'm like, "I don't understand what you're going through, but like I can be here with you and try to understand it." And you know, what can you really say to somebody who's dying in front of you? And as a person who's like that guy still has to deal with 2 children, and the children, 3 children. Sorry, and they them saying, "Oh, we'll help take care of mom." Well, you should have been doing that before, because now I've reached my limit and I can't go back. So, like, I kind of feel like that person's not the asshole.
But also, they're children. I see they shouldn't have been doing it because they're children.
I understand their children. They didn't say their ages, did they?
Yes, 18, 16, and sorry, I erased it once I finally read it. And I believe 15 was the daughter's age.
18 to 16 can help. If it was something like, of course, you know, I'm not a...
They can help. They can probably help, as in they can do household chores.
You know, like when you're already reached your peak, that's your peak already. So, like that guy did what he thought was best.
Yeah, and I don't know what the actual rules are, you know, if that is the case that, you know what I'm saying, if you don't go pick somebody up, they'll put him in a facility. I mean, maybe his dad gave him bad advice, but advice nonetheless is what he received in that situation, and like I said, that was one that I saw, and I truly thought I was gonna go one direction, like this lazy motherfucker, but no, as it turns out, he is having to deal with running the house, which I never like people complaining about running the house, because it's like it is a task, but it's not so monumental that unless that motherfucker live in some kind of estate that he can't keep clean. I don't know, but Vanessa's still recovering from her pulmonary embolism, and like she would like to, believe me, clean this house. But you know what I'm saying? Because she, it's just that's just who she is as a person. But for right now, I clean the house. I have the kids help out left and really here and there, but in most situations, I keep the house clean. We all try to be. We've been pretty good about sharing the dish duty, and so forth. And
you sure the stash is open?
But
I said the stash is open.
Oh, my man, yes, my man assists as he needs to, but I don't. I hate when people say. I hate when these stories come out where some man basically like, I don't want to clean the house. It's like, bruh. It's like I don't live the particular life where it's like I'm a man and I'm not gonna clean.
I wish I could be
bruh.
that dude. I wish I could be like, hey, woman, you gonna make me some meat and potatoes, or I have my hand in my pants all day. Damn, I wish I had that life.
I just, like I said, this. I'm looking over here right now, and guess what? I'm gonna use this couch up before I go to bed. Trust, it's gonna happen because it just is what it is. I'm going to double check and make sure the sink is empty of dishes because it's what I do. These are the steps I take, and I don't consider it a fucking. I'm so oppressed because I gotta clean the house I live in. I live here. What am I supposed to fucking do? Clean your goddamn house. And my ass get up every morning and work too, bruh. So, I mean, it's like, in that regard, I can't call it. Now, only thing, like I said, I'm with him on this whole, like, it is difficult to take care of an angry, sick person who is, like Aunt said, is dying in front of you. It's like, that person is mad because they sick, you mad because they sick, and you mad because they about to leave you, and you know it. And the rest of it is actually him probably just trying to make it make sense to himself. I'm mad, I got to clean my house. Well, no. You mad because your partner's about to die, and you know what comes.
I think
with
with both of these last two things, like these people might be acting like assholes in a certain respect, but both of these people just need therapy. Like they need somebody to talk to and talk like through it. I'm not gonna call this guy an asshole. I never really thought he was an asshole, but the fact of the matter is, like, maybe before you made that decision, you should have sat down and talked to your family about it. You should talk to, when you get with a person, sometimes you have to have a line of communication with their family too, and be able to like, hey, I need this from you. As hard as that might be, and stressful situations might come up, you got to find somebody where you be like, well, I can't go to her. I need to talk to you, and this is what's going on because I'm at my limit. So, I feel bad for dude. I mean, I wish that I just wish for peace in everybody's heart because that's a terrible situation, and them kids are probably gonna blame him forever
for something he truly has no control over. You can't do shit about a stage 4 colon cancer. That shit is it. That's what got Alex Trebek. It's what got Steve Jobs. They had pancreatic cancer, but still, colon cancer, like I said, especially at that level, is one of the ones that just like it's not a lot of fighting back from that, you know. And I don't even want to say fighting back because that's a term we got to stop putting out there, as if people aren't really fighting hard enough. It's not. That's not the case. Disease is sometimes a motherfucker, and there is no.
Yeah,
coming back from.
I'm proud to say that my mother had colon cancer. I mean, I'm not proud to say that shit. And my mother survived it, but my mother is very diligent about her health. Very diligent. Like, my mother's been in the the healthcare field for a long, long time. So her knowing people and like working in the hospital and people like taking good care of her because she but she made it through. And everybody doesn't. And I mean, no matter what, it'll be a bad. It turns out to be sometimes a bad situation.
True indeed. So, oh goodness gracious! I'm sorry to have wound it up on a downer, but you know,
we couldn't
it
talk
goes
about
down
sandwiches
sometimes.
the whole fucking episode, right?
All right. Sandwich for me is tired.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up and slide on out of here. Hold on, let me double check and make sure the processor did not hit us with a voicemail. No voicemail, sir, that I see. So you're good this week. But hey, housekeeping as always. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show wherever possible. Please subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels. I streamed on Twitch the other day. I gave Hades on the Switch a start. A game that I did not expect to like, but it really got its hooks in me almost immediately. And the only reason I haven't been playing is because I was in the middle of something already on the Xbox. I want to finish it, but now that I finished that game, I kind of want to come back and start playing some more Hades. So that might I might do that again.
Cyberpunk?
No, I'm not touching Cyberpunk until they have all their patches out. I'm not even gonna bother with it because I want that to be a better experience than what it can be. So, but I did get Last of Us the other day for PlayStation. I got that. It's still wrapped. I ain't unwrapped it yet, but I got it.
It's on PlayStation. What are we up to? 5 now? So you got it on PlayStation 5?
And no, and it has PlayStation 5, I guess, updates. You know what I'm saying? I guess it runs a little smoother and it has some controller updates. Because the PlayStation 5 controller has some special features in it.
That's one thing I don't like. Like, my girlfriend bought me Grand Theft Auto 5 for PlayStation 4, I think I have, right? And, like, you know, it's a very familiar game to me. And, like, I'm like, hey, that's not how you get out of a car. But, you know, that's a little funny. Like, they changed some shit for no reason, it seems like.
But yeah, the Twitch streams is well, at least recently enough. I got a Twitch stream out there, so that happened. Hey, if you want to support the show financially and have a few bucks to toss our way, you can join our Patreon, where members at the $5 and above tier get extra content each month and early access to new shows. We also have merch available over on tpublic.com. Not the one that has Nazi t-shirts, the better one.
Oh.
So Teespring, as apparently, was making a lot of them Nazi shirts that the insurrectionists were wearing last week. So we fuck with a better company in that regard. So yeah, head over to tpublic.com/user/stagecrunchyandmilk, all one word, and check out some of our merch. Oh, feel free, give us a call. Just like the Pod Sister at 216-302-8763. That's 216-83028-POD. We'd certainly love to hear from you. I don't want to know about your $10,000 mouth.
$50,000.
Got to tell you that. Oh, sure. I'll go with that. A multi-$1,000 mouth.
I think that's the name of the episode. $1,000 mouth.
There's a lot of TV inches in that mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, that...
Kind of a wide screen, if you will.
Cartoon, multi-$1,000 mouth.
Get one of those girthy floor models from back in the day.
The wood grain.
Real thick.
That's Tatum 216. That's Lunchbox 2099. That is the real ODP. Been very peaceful in these Twitter streets during this time of transition. I'm proud of you, sir. Proud of you.
I'm trying to be good in 2021,
baby.
Didn't you tell
2021?
Didn't you have to tell him to delete a tweet like 3 days ago?
However, that was directed at a local. It was more because I knew that turn of phrase could possibly bring Twitter. I tried
to hurry up and see it. What did you say, Gabe?
Yeah, I was gonna say I went to read it. It was already gone.
I told a local a radio personality to stop lying because he's a scumbag.
You directed
I
it,
feel like-
Trevisano, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I feel like a lot
really hate that guy.
reoccurring segment could be that you pick like 3 or 4 like different tweets. I mean that you didn't tweet, and we'll have to pick out which one you really didn't tweet.
What's going on in your what is it called? The little photo where you didn't send shit?
Drafts.
Your drafts, yeah. What's your drafts looking like, man?
Yeah, Twitter drafts with
I don't
Gabe.
keep them.
Twitter drafts with Gabe. It's awesome.
Damn, I would have curb stomped somebody. Oops, I didn't. I'm not gonna put that.
I am the Internet's Terror 713. You've just been podcast too. I know you
She
love
had
it.
an ass like a 10-year-old
Peace.
boy. That came from what's that movie from?
True Lies.
Yeah, from True Lies. I never knew what that meant. I was just like, that's just creepy.
How did he let that statement go without like? That's
Like,
fucked up.
Is having an ass like a 10-year-old boy a good or a bad thing?
He said it so casually, like, what the?
She had an ass like a 10-year-old boy. I was just like, I'm a 10-year-old boy. Let me stop this recording.
Hey, what happened to you?